Yo, 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 yo. How are you guys doing? Yo, podhead, I see you, baby. Tony, papi. Zombie, how you doing, papi? Muted. I was muted. But at the start of the stream, I put like a song and I pray. So on YouTube, you cannot hear the song because YouTube is a motherfucker with the copyright, you know. So yes, it is a little bit, the start of the stream is a little bit awkward on YouTube, but on Twitch you get the music and it is not awkward at all. And everything is great. Hello, zombie papi, how are you doing, baby? Doing the greatest. Hey Tony, that is awesome to hear, papi. That is awesome to hear. You know I don't miss when the stream is at this hour. I know, podhead papi. I know, but it is hard to do at this hour all the time, you know, like obviously because I am working. But even when I switch to full time, I don't know if I will stream at this time because at this time I am normally watching this stream. And apparently they are streaming the GTA 6 auction. And he's watching the GTA 6 auction. I'll be honest with you boys, I don't give a flying fuck about GTA. Plus, are we sure we can watch this shit without getting copyrighted or whatever? Because I think he's watching this on Netflix. Imagine I am saying I don't give a fuck about GTA 6 and then the game is awesome and then I play it and then I say that it is a great game. You do what you gotta do, bro. I am just glad I get to catch a string. Hey, thank you, papi, podhead, baby. God bless you, dude. Thank you for the support. So these guys are just cooking drugs in here, in their underwear. Why do you have to be naked to cook drugs? Is it so the clothes don't stink of drugs? GTA is boring. I think that. I think that, young. But majority of people don't think that. Let me also open the Path of Exile thing because I smell the crack from 3 monitors away. Okay, 25 minutes for the Path of Exile thing. Let me see what he has in here in his Youngling nerves. We don't know that until we get the patch notes, right? Rolling magma buffs, hex blood buff. This is a lot of buffs and nerfs, and I don't know if they are going to say this on the stream because probably they are going to focus on content, and then we see the buffs and nerfs in the patch notes, right? But new support gems, new skill, they probably can say this in the stream. If there is a trial of the ancestors, they would say it. New uniques, they will say it. Rerun of a current league mechanic. This is 100% what is going to happen. I don't think they are going to introduce a new mechanic. It will be awesome, but I don't think it will happen. Let me see. What does voided league mean? I don't know what that means. And Atlas 3 changes, that is a given. I don't think there is gonna be that much content. I think it will be balanced. I agree completely. I think the content will be. They already said they are going to introduce a bunch of new uniques. So that is new content, right? New uniques can unlock new builds. I am hoping we get a new ascendancy. At least one of the two missing ascendancies, right? Remember, we are missing two ascendancies, the Druid one and the Ranger one. I am hoping for at least one of those. There is a possibility because Mark said he wanted to do it, but we don't know. Aside from those things, I am not expecting new content. But I am expecting a remix of old content, like an event, to give the sensation that you are getting a league, right? And it can be many things. Like now, Abyss is going to spawn in every map. and the abyss monsters are red. I don't know, whatever dog shit. To give the sensation that there is a mechanic, right? Yo, papi, I'll be watching on 160p. I am in the middle of another power outage. Good thing I charged my phone fully, dude. The third world. There have been a lot of outages here in Colombia as well. They say that it is because of El Niño and the temperatures are too high and the thing gets overloaded and the lines go down. That is the excuse they give. Okay, major content. I agree with you, Pothead. I also don't think there is going to be major content. There are people coping that they are going to put source in 0.55. No way that happens. Source are reserved for 1.0, 100%. Yo, what, papi? How you doing, dude? What's missing you in the streams? Art, papi bello. Papi bello means beautiful daddy. Bello is beautiful. At best, they might let us try non-complete league mechanics for 1.0. At best. And I will be very surprised if they do something. Knives, I don't think they are going to add daggers. That is a long shot. That is a very long shot. Yo, McPhee, papi, how you doing, dude? Abyss mobs have max rage. It could happen, some dog shit like that, right? No way, that's a Lululand Cup. I agree that there is no way they drop source in 0.55. And again, you guys know that I will be happy if they release new content, accelerated content. Like, I will be happy with everything. It is just that I am not expecting it. So if they do it, I get excited and I get happy. But if they don't do it, I don't get disappointed. So that is a technique. That is a technique. That time of the league again, it is indeed, it is. By the way, my prediction is that they are going to drop the league next week. It could be in 2 weeks. It could be in 2 weeks. But I am hoping next week, and that is why they are doing the reveal, right? Templar and Delph added in 1.0. You know that nothing would make me happier than that, Art. That will be the dream patch for me. You know that I love the Templar and you know that I love Delph. But that is too much copium, man. That is too much copium. I don't think that will happen, dude. I'm not playing until they fix this stupid box. I just beat the temple but couldn't pick up that city medallion to get the loot because I didn't have an open slot. Literally, what the fuck? That happens to me all the time. You have to drop something, brother. You have to cancel a medallion. You can cancel a medallion. You open the thing, you click the thing. That happens to me all the time. But I do get that there are a lot of bugs. Let's hope that in 0.55 they fix a lot of them. This is directly taken for a meme from real life. I remember seeing that in real life. The woman with the car and the hammer. I am having a problem with this trailer, boys. And it is too Latin American influence. And you will say, well, yes, why do you have a problem with that? Aren't you Latin American? Yes, exactly because of that. Exactly because of that. Do you think I play this shit to see what I already see on the street? No, I want to see something different. Busy with work, man. I can't catch your stream during daytime here. Oh, when I stream at night for me, it is daytime for you and you cannot watch the streams. I am sorry for that, brother. But it is the best time for me to stream, you know. Honestly, I am for whatever. I got it so much from the 3D box I gave them. That is true. That is true. Imagine the people that are going to be free to play that won't have to spend anything. Obviously, it is better if you spend for the stash tabs, right? But you won't be forced to spend like we did. And people are going to take to get a lot of free play time of an awesome game, dude. What other game that is even 50% of as good as Path of Exile is free to play? No game that is as good as Path of Exile is free to play, man. More Copium, they add Voyage. Dude, that is my second favorite league mechanic so far after Delph. And I don't think they will add it to POE2 because retards in POE1 were complaining that this loot sucks. So all the focus went to the loot and people ignore the league mechanic, and the league mechanic is fucking insane cracked. Just bored of the Latinas. I am not bored of the Latinas. I am bored of Latin American culture. It is different. Latinas, I am not bored of that. I will tell you right now, boys, Latin American culture has many cool and good things that I like. But it also glorifies a lot of dog shit. And that is what I don't that is what I dislike. Latin American culture a lot of times glorifies being a piece of shit. And that is what is still holding us in the third world. I am swapping between the ETA and the other thing because I don't know if YouTube is going to flag me for watching this, you know. That is also why I have it with no sound. Asmon is not streaming to YouTube, so he's chilling, right? But I am how do you say this? Multi-streaming to YouTube, and YouTube is a motherfucker. In fact, I shouldn't have been multi-streaming to YouTube, to be honest with you. Longest 18 minutes and 3 months, 15 days of my life. I am checking the YouTube to see if they send me some notification or whatever, you know. Nothing so far, so it shouldn't be a problem. Just need the divination cards. Dude, now that you talk about it, I was let me see. I am trying something. I will build something. And just to give you an idea of what it is. This is obviously nothing official, but it is something that I was trying. This is one thing that I can probably show. Here. As a mechanic, I like it, but I think borders need some tweaking. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Oh, a mechanic. I thought that you were a mechanic that repairs cars, but you are talking about the voyage mechanic, and the borders of the voyage need some tweaking. I get it. You are correct. You are correct. Okay, look at this. This is something I made in Photoshop. for a project that I am going to work on. And this is another thing related to that. So you can imagine what I am doing. It is going to be awesome. It is going to be insane. This is just me writing things to remember. Yo, Sarbo dude! How you doing, dude? Thank you so much for joining the pack, brother. Let me see how much. Because you have been in here for some months. 3 months. 3 months, papi. Sour Bubble, my dude. Thank you so much for the subs. You are fucking awesome, dude. God bless ya, papi. Thank you so much, brother. That howl was a little bit scuffed because I had the orb right here in the throat, dude. I am sorry. Art, you subscribe again 15 months in a row. What? Over a year, you are out of your mind, brother. Quack. Thank you so much for the support, Art, papi. You are beautiful, my man. God bless you, papi. Thank you so much, brother. And yes, obviously it is a card game for PoE. I know that there could be a problem because of the IP and the copyright or whatever. So obviously what I am going to will is like no money gained, right? Just like a tool for the people to use it. But obviously if at some point he doesn't like it, I just take it down, right? And I can just change the IP to something else or whatever. But yes, I am planning on doing something like this. Like I already thought about the rules and everything, right? I've been working on this for a couple of weeks now. This is not going to be how it looks. This was just a try, right? This was a try to see, just to play around with it. Let me see. Osea, papi, you subscribe, you join the pack, dude. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for the support, papi. Osea, baby. God bless ya, dude. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, dude. And yes, normally what happens is that if they like it, afterwards they would like, for example, they have discussed things with the guy from POE Ninja. They discuss things with Never Sync, which is the guy from the filter we all use. So there is this is a way of trying to connect somehow with GG, right? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It will take a while. It will take a while because it is a huge project. So don't expect to see anything about it for months. Just know that I am working on it. There's TCG programs that let you create your own games and image, etc. and play test it. Oh yes, it's something like Tabletop Simulator. I will probably have to do, before doing my own thing, I will probably have to play test it, right? Because the balance and see if the game, if my rules make sense or whatever, before hard committing to programming anything. But my goal is to make it obviously playable automatically PvP on a web browser. That is what I want to do. I don't want to do it through an app, and I don't want to do it through a simulator for people, right? For my playtest purposes, before creating the thing, yes, I will have to simulate it. But when I am committed, I will just do a web browser PvP, right? There are already many websites that work like that, by the way, for Star Wars Unlimited, for the Riftbound, which is the League of Legends TCG, for the One Piece TCG. There are many websites that do this, so I am not inventing anything in here, right? Well, the game. Watching you on both Twitch and YouTube for the double drop. So, sea, papi, thank you so much. That means a lot, papi. POE the Gathering. I already have a name for it and everything. And that is why when you mention divination cards, I immediately talk about that. Because the name is obviously divination or divine or divination. Because it already gives you the POE idea, right? POE2 having the cards being an in-game TCG will be really cool. That will be the ideal scenario, right? That I could collab with GGG and then the collection of the cards is different than normally you just get the cards or you open packs, right? What if we could make it that you farm the cards in Path of Exile and you trade for them using the currency exchange? Obviously, the people that only care about the card game will be annoyed that they have to play Path of Exile, but it will be a different cool way of doing it, right? Path of Exile players will be fine with it, but the people that only want to play the card game will be annoyed with it. There's no drop for the reveal, only for the race. I was pretty sure that you get a mystery box. A mystery box for the reveal. Don't you get a mystery box for the reveal? Let me look the official Path of Exile channel. So that we can watch directly this one. You get a box. Yeah, you get a box. Path of Divination. Anytime, man, you're always the most entertaining, even with a werewolf fetish. Thank you, papi. Thank you. It is not a fetish. I just like the wolves, you know. They are doing qualifying races in issues, like the fastest person to kill Tabakai in Act 4. And the people that qualify, today is the last race, by the way. The 4 people that qualify go to ExileCon and race live there to be the champion, the absolute champion. Cards of Divinity. Like Final Fantasy VIII, a card game within a game. Exactly. Like also went in The Witcher. Yo, Argus, papi, how you doing, dude? If I ever start streaming, I need to do those races. You can do them even without streaming, by the way. Anyone can join the race. The thing is winning. Because only the winner qualifies. I am not a furry, guys. I just like wolves and werewolves. That doesn't mean you are a furry. I'm sure Jazz would really like the film Underworld. I like Underworld. And the best Underworld movie is the one where they go to the past and it is just following the Lycans. That is the best Underworld movie. Me going to the fridge at 2 a.m. for a second dinner. I will take what I am owed. How you doing, Creek, papi? I think some of them get that funny unique also. Oh, yeah. They get a thing in the game for winning. There's a plot to Underworld. I just watched it again. Dude, she was so fucking hot in that movie, though. She's still hot, but it is 20 years later, right? Not the same thing. Okay, 4 minutes. 4 minutes to go. Oh, high. Is this what GTA 6 is going to like? Yes, this is GTA 6. They are doing right now a reveal as well. It started like 20 minutes ago. I have not watched it fully because I don't know if there is going to be some copyright issues. But yes, this is the GTA 6 trailer that they were releasing today in Netflix. On Netflix. To me, GTA 6 is overhyped. Maybe it is going to be good. Maybe it is going to be a fucking awesome game. But it is overhyped as fuck, man. Super overhyped. And they are going to give it Game of the Year because it is GTA 6. But Path of Exile 2 is better. Path of Exile 2 is better. And not because I am biased. Path of Exile 2 is a better game. We will be playing Path of Exile 2 in 5 years, in 10 years. And in that time, people will be asking for GTA 7 because they are bored of GTA 6. Meanwhile, we will still be playing fucking Path of Exile 2. GTA 6 is boring. Just give me Delph. Based art. Based. I agree with you completely. GTA 6 looks good, but I don't want to buy a fucking Xbox for that. That is another thing. It is only on console. I don't have a console, and I don't want to buy a console. PC Master Race. If you already have a console, okay, Gucci. You have the console, you can play the game. But I am not going to purchase it for that, right? I don't have the money either, but even if I did, I don't want to do it. Kinda wish Asmon will get banned again so we can see more Kaisi. POE2 is better than any other game released this year. Agree completely, agree completely. You know, I said it the other day and people said that I am biased. I am biased, but not biased towards GGG or Path of Exile because I make content for it, but because I like the game, right? So yes, I am biased towards I like, obviously. Let's open the chat because I want to see people being disappointed that Swords are not going to win 055. Hey! Lil! Baby! You gifted 5 subs! That is insane, Lil, baby! Thank you so much! God bless ya, baby! Hearts for you! Thank you so much, baby! How are you doing? I hope you are awesome! That is awesome, Lil. Thank you so much, baby. Hey guys, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Let's go. Druid class, give me the shape-shifting druid. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers,
Hi.
Game Director on Path of Exile 2. And today I'm excited to show off our new class, the Duelist, which will be available in the 1.0 release on December the 11th. But for those of you who just can't wait until 1.0 later this year, after showing the Duelist, we'll also be showing off a new event based on the Ritual League called the Forbidden Rites, which will be releasing next week along with the 055 update. And after all that, a Q&A with Ziggy D to answer your questions from Twitch chat.
I told you it was
But
going
not
to
only
be an
that,
event.
Afterwards, we'll be going straight to the final qualifier for the POE2 races, the winner of which will be going to ExileCon in November to compete in the finals. But first, the Duelist. Now the Duelist comes with a new weapon type that it's kind of crazy we didn't have, swords. And with each new weapon type, we want to make sure that the playstyle feels different to all the others. So what defines combat with a sword? To us, it's that feeling of flow, from attack to attack, and from stance to stance. And what better place to demonstrate the Duelist's abilities than the ruins of the Grand Arena? The corpses of the dead continue to fight endlessly as the arena collapses around them. and should you get to the center, you'll be able to face Thrax, their champion. The first mechanic we need to talk about is ready stance. After using some duelist skills, you can keep holding the button to ready your blades for your next strike. Normally, your basic sword slash would look like this, but in ready stance it turns into a deadly AoE slash instead. Your ready stance also has the ability to be upgraded. This is Sand Scour, another ready stance attack, and if you stun enemies with it, you'll enter Sand Stance, and using this with your default attack will send out a sand disc. But default attack isn't the only ability that can be modified by your stance, like Perforate for example. This skill is a triple stab, where the third strike sends out drills, bleeding your enemies. But from ready stance, you can skip right to the drills. If you use it from Sand Stance though, it will send out a bunch of mini sand discs from every enemy it hits. Perfect for large packs. Together, these basic abilities give a very unique feel to sword combat. It's quite different than any other class we've made, flowing from ability to ability. There's also some abilities that you can use while in ready stance, without breaking it. A good example are war cries, like this one, Intimidate.
Time to die!
Use it to deliver a cutting insult to your foe, intimidating them and causing your next attack to knock them off balance. Another great ability you can use already is Rending Dash. This movement skill slices through monsters, but since you stay in ready stance, it allows you to reposition to the perfect angle to strike. So far, we've been using Sand Stance to tackle these enemies. But what about Blood Stance? For that, we'll need to switch from two-hand to dual wield.
Nice,
Now
love
with
it.
swords, we wanted to make sure that the different options of one-hand, two-hand, or dual wield each have their own interesting playstyle. So unlike other weapon types, dual wielding swords gives you the ability to parry attacks. Follow up with Bloodied Blade to enter Blood Stance.
It should give
When
you
using
block
this one
like
with
in
default
POE1
attack, you'll
also.
create a deadly blood wave, causing your enemies to bleed. And of
Like
course,
passive
Blood
block,
Stance
you know.
will also work with other skills that
chance.
benefit from stances. So use it with Perforate, for example, and you'll get a bunch of mini blood novas. Once your enemies are bleeding, you might want to try out Hemorrhage. This skill creates deadly blood slashes that drastically speed up the bleeding on your enemies. And once the enemies have built up enough blood loss, slice through them with a Rending Dash to consume all the blood loss for a giga bleed.
I was born for
This
this.
map
Now
is
one
from
skill we couldn't have
Act
made
5,
the
I
duelist
suppose.
without is Cyclone. It's an absolute fan favorite, and just like before, when using it, you can spin to win. But this class is all about using stances, so how about we try it with one of those? Use Cyclone from Sand Stance, and you'll be spewing sand discs at your enemies left and right. Great for AoE clear. Now Parry also had a significant upgrade compared to before, and it's a lot more reliable now. But there's also another way to parry monsters that doesn't require waiting for them to attack you. By switching to a shield, you can now bash enemies straight out of ready stance to parry them without waiting for an attack.
Okay, that is good. I like that. I like being able to parry on command. They needed to do something with parry because it's up. By the way, guys, I know that it looks or
During
annoying
the
to
arena's
play or
heyday,
slow. They
challengers would
always do
first
this
have
for
to face deadly
showcases.
beasts to test their
People
mettle.
are going to
So
figure
why
out a
should it
way
be any
of being
different now?
fast with this in-game.
Before you can face Thrax, you will need to defeat these dangerous adversaries to prove your worth. Another trick the duelist has up his sleeves are buried blades. Earthrend creates blades that slice through the ground towards your enemies, and once in the ground, these blades have a few uses. The first one of these can be done using Charged Slash. The basic version is a simple lightning-infused cleave, but do it from ready stance, and it changes into a deadly spin, sending out lightning projectiles. But Charged Slash can also be used with the buried blades. Hitting them will turn them into mini Tesla coils, dealing lightning damage to nearby enemies. It seems here we have a warrior who refused to die. I'm sure we could put his equipment to better use.
Hey, that looks cool, like a mercenary in POE1.
Quiet. I've no guilt in this.
You could also switch to a two-hander to plunge your blade into the ground, sending out a set of 3 blades that explode. But if you use Earthrend first, then you can get even more blades, and the blade plunge will make all of them explode. If you want an even greater field of blades, using Ready Stance with Earthrend has an interesting effect. Instead of creating one blade, it makes an entire wall of them. You can also hold the blade plunge skill to charge up the swords even further before they explode.
I have to say that
Watch out for those chimeras.
The
So for
animations
maximum
look
damage,
clean.
use Ready Stance into Earthrend, charge them up with Charge Slash, and do a Held Blade Plunge for a massive explosion. But that's not all. Blood and Sand work with the Blade Plunge too, to empower all your buried blades. Use it with Sand to generate continuous sandstorms around all your blades. And this can be a devastating combo to blend bosses. Or use it with Blood to create blood pools around each blade. Cycloning through the blood pools will add blood to your Cyclone, so that can be a fun option. But while we're talking about that, Cyclone counts as a storm, so it can pick up other elemental ground effects too. Blade Conduit will summon a bolt of lightning to your blade and create shocking ground, and cycloning through it will add lightning to your Cyclone. Combine it with the blood to get both effects. And of course it's possible to get blood, sand, ice, fire, and lightning all at the same time on your Cyclone. You guys will have to
People
work
are
out a
going
good
to be
build for
using
that
the taming
yourselves.
ring to get all the ground benefits.
Already you can see from just the tools I've shown you, this class has a lot of interesting combinations of abilities. With even just a few skills, there are a huge number of options you can do in combat. Now before we get to the boss fight of this area, there's just one more skill I'd like to show you. World Cutter.
The big
Charge it
sword,
up
the big
and
sword.
unleash the ultimate slash.
There you have it, I knew it.
But that's not all. Like so many of the duelist abilities, it can be further enhanced with Blood Stance, or Sand Stance too. Alright, so those are just a few of the tools the duelist has at his disposal. So let's use them to face the true threat, Thrax,
The animations
champion
look
of the
very
arena.
cool, very fluid, very like it seems nice to play, you know. It flows, man. They look cool. I love the animations. I love the animations. Parry, he parried there. By the way, I told you that 055 was going to be an event with another league. He confirmed that, saying that it is a ritual league, right? And also I told you they are going to drop it next week. And effectively, they are doing it next week, which is fucking awesome. That means today we spin the wheel, boys. Today we spin the wheel. But if they release the Druid Ascendancy, I am going to play the Druid Ascendancy. If no Druid Ascendancy, we spin the wheel. Also, this boss looks cool as well. I think this boss and this song is going to be from Act 5. When you go to Oria. It is too many buttons because they are showcasing several different abilities. You don't have to play all those buttons, kid. Don't be like that, man. You don't have to play all those buttons. They are just showcasing different abilities. But there was an ability that I wanted to see more of, and they are not showing it, which is the Omni Slash ability, the one that looks like a flicker strike. Guys, they are showcasing the abilities. This is not an actual build that you are going to play in the game. You are going to be doing more damage and playing less buttons in reality. This is just a showcase. You will be able to just build a spin to win with one button if you want.
Alright, so that's a taste of what we have in store for the Duelist. It's my favorite class I've ever worked on, and provides a really dynamic combat experience that's just quite unlike any other ARPG.
Veronica,
But we
what the
also
fuck
want
is
to show
Veronica?
what kind of possibilities there are for the Duelist in the endgame. To do that, I'll hand things over to Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. Today, we're going to go through two in-game builds that we've put together for the Duelist made by our developers. Our first build is called the Bringer of Blades, a mighty name once feared in the arena. This build is all about rising buried blades from beneath the ground. Some say each sword created by this build is from a foe slain in battle in the gladiator arena, and from the afterlife, they offer their sword back to you in
Towards ascendancies
respect.
for the duelists, please.
The bread and butter of this build uses Earthrend, supported by the lineage support Calm's Madness, to maximize the efficiency of creating buried blades. It combines that with the Blade Conduit skill, to charge up all the blades with lightning. You can also use the Astral Projector support on it to be able to do so from ranged, if you want to minimize risk and play shock ground underneath your enemies.
So the
We
first
also
build
have
showcase for the
Earthrend
duelists is
supported
a
by
range build.
Electrocute, so that we can keep
Thank
the
you for
enemy's
letting me
crowd
know
control.
you want us to play melee.
Then
Yeah.
it's just simple.
Thank you for letting
Spam
me know
Earthrend,
melee is getting
occasionally
low.
using Blade Conduit
By
to refresh the
showcasing
charge
a
lightning
fucking
of all
rage.
the blades.
Bill,
For
we
stronger
can do
enemies
this.
or larger packs, we want to be able to get sand stuns. The best way to do that while clearing is using Combat Frenzy. Simple. Now you're generating frenzy charges. With those, we can use Sand Scour to enter sand stuns.
It looks
From
cool.
sand
Don't
stuns,
get me
use
wrong, but
Blade
come
Plunge
on, man.
to cause sand discs to appear on all of our many buried blades, covering the screen in storms of sand. Of course, you want to use eroding sands too, because as the sand discs are doing many small hits, you want to make sure enemies have as little armor as possible for maximum damage. Alongside that, since we're doing lightning damage, we're also going to throw in the new support Sandstorm, which causes our sand discs to become infused with lightning.
There are
The
people
other
saying,
tool
where
we're
is the
using is
melee?
this support,
True, man,
which
true.
causes
Tell
all
him,
your
brother,
buried
tell
blades
him.
to add
Where the
miniature
fuck is
auras
my
that
melee
give you damage.
character?
To double down on that further, we have this new passive skill notable, which also causes your buried blades to make you angry, causing you to generate rage on hit while near them. With those, we want even more buried blades. So, let's take it to the extreme. And for that, we have this skill, Rain of Steel, which allows you to call down a whole ruckus of swords, covering the entire battlefield in buried blades.
Yeah, because I need
It's
more range
pretty
shit.
obvious what to do next. Just use the existing combos, and the
So the
entire
same
screen
ability
becomes surging with lightning
that is
as
a
sand
fucking
discs run
ascendancy
wild.
point for the tactician.
There's more coming even still. Alongside the Duelist, we've made a whole bunch of new epic swords. I mean, just look at them all. This build in particular uses this sword, which causes all your buried blades to be enhanced by Karui magic and become ancestrally boosted. Then, take these new passive skill notables, specifically for boosted attacks, to improve your efficiency even further. There's a few new ways to boost attacks with the Duelist, and we're excited for you to discover and integrate them into your builds.
I don't like the buried
With all
sword.
that combined, look at this
Archetype, to be honest
actual
with you.
mayhem. Now, we tried to not use unique items on this build, as we wanted to show its potential with just standard gear and skills. But this next one is a different story. So, let's move on to our second build. Here we have the Scourge Walker. For this build, we wanted to do Cyclone with a twist. For that, we're going to use some uniques, starting with a new sword being introduced alongside the Duelist, Oro's Sacrifice. This sword grants a ton of fire damage, at the expense of your physical damage, and grants a new skill called Infernal Step. Infernal Step itself is pretty fun.
That is the
and
flicker.
pretty epic. Use it as you flicker around, burning enemies as you strike them. Be wary
Okay,
though.
this is the
There
one
are
that
both
I wanted.
upsides and downsides to using this skill consecutively. Each use gains you a stack of Sacrificial Flame. While this isn't inherently a downside, using Infernal Step while you have Sacrificial Flame causes you to take fire damage, and the more you have, the more you take. So
People
you
are
want
going
to
to
make
figure
sure
out
you
a way
mitigate
of
as
not
much fire
taking
damage
damage.
taken as possible. In order to do this, we're using even more uniques. Like these, which have received some changes. Molten Tenet and Zoph's Blood. Then we've just gone and used good armor gear in our core armor slots to stack up as much defense as possible. So, what about damage? We're doing a few things here that are pretty out there. Given we're using Oro's Sacrifice, we're dealing purely fire damage. However, we still need to be able to bleed for some huge DPS you'll see soon.
Avatar of Fire.
To do that, we're using this unique ring, Blistering Bond. This allows our fire damage to scale bleeding, instead of physical damage. Our last unique is Barrack's Respite. As said originally, we want a Cyclone, which is a wind skill, and can benefit from elemental ground surfaces.
This one is
Now,
cool, guys.
our Cyclone is a fiery vortex.
This is the one I like.
One last thing to note before
is what
showcasing
I
our
wanted.
Scourge Walker in action is that Oro's Sacrifice also grants you frenzy charges while at maximum sacrificial flame. This will allow us to fold Bloodied Blade into our rotation between Cyclone sessions to get Blood Enhanced Cyclone. Alright, Now you can see our basic rotation. First, we use Infernal Step a few times. Then, once we have a Frenzy Charge, we use Bloodied Blade. This puts us in Blood stance. And then it's simple. Cyclone away. As you can see, we have the perfect harmony of demonic powers. Blood and fire fill the screen. Honestly though, we need to add some horror and flesh to the build to really embrace the fantasy. For that, let's use this new support gem, which we will put on our Cyclone. Given we're already bleeding, this can cause enemies to shed chunks of flesh when hit, which explode after a short delay. Check out this ruckus. Oh, and while we're at it,
Okay, I like this one, boys. I am sorry for talking shit about the other one because this one is good.
At this point, you can already see how much this is getting out of control. I love it. You may notice we have an excess of frenzy charges. So, you want to throw on Echoing Strikes, which consumes all your frenzy charges to cause our next cyclone to create a bunch of cyclones. Feel free to add Infernal Cry to the mix, because why not? Okay, well it's already pretty damn strong, but we can push it further. What about single target? For that, we're going to make use of our second weapon set, and use a one-hand sword and Targe, which grants parry. However, instead of using a regular Targe, we're going to use this Runeforged Targe, which grants us a special version of parry that maintains its stances when used. So if you are in Blood stance and use it, you will remain in Blood stance afterwards. This includes while using the dashing parry that Jonathan mentioned earlier. We are going to want our parry debuff duration to be as long as possible, so we can spend more time spinning. To get that, we're using another new sword base type. This one adds base duration to parry. We've also then invested into as much parry duration in this weapon set as possible on new passives on the tree. Now, we can make this even better by using a new support that allows our parry to apply Armor Break. And to get it to benefit from our fire damage, we will anoint the Molten One's gift on our amulet. Now, our Armor Break causes enemies to take extra fire damage. So now, we just get into Blood stance using Bloodied Blade, use parry, which dashes in, keeping us in Blood stance, then we cyclone our way to glory. Don't forget to also use Echoing Strikes once you get enough frenzy charges. I mean, just look at this damage. You may have noticed we didn't show any Ascendancy classes. That's right, these builds weren't even Ascended, so their build potential goes so much higher. And the Ascendancies are pretty epic. Here's some art to tease them.
Gladiator.
But to find out more about that, you'll have to check them out when we show them at ExileCon later this year.
Gladiator, and this is the fucking champion that nobody gets about the champion, man.
We're really excited to have you get your hands on it and start slicing and dicing throughout Rayclass.
That sucks, man. The Gladiator
now,
is my favorite one.
Path of Exile 2's full 1.0 launch is later this year on December 11th. But if you just can't wait till then, next week we are doing our 055 update, and it includes a bunch of changes as well as a new event. Given that, it's finally time to talk about Forbidden Rites, a new event based on the Ritual League that will be starting with our 055 patch next week. But that's not all. We also have a massive overhaul to the Trial of Chaos, some new in-game Abyss content,
the one that did our reward was the second, not the Chaos.
The King in the Mists and his cultists, left unchecked, have spread their influence. By his will, the Nameless have been performing gruesome rituals throughout Rayclass, all the way from the forests of Ogum to the deserts of the Maraketh, and even Utsal and the Karui Islands, afflicting everything around them with a foreboding darkness. As you can see, they've been quite successful in their efforts, and if not stopped soon, who knows what will become of Rayclass. During the Forbidden Rites event, your goal is to put an end to their nefarious plans. In each area of the campaign, you'll find a ritual encounter. For those unfamiliar, these are effigies that are guarded by the Nameless and their servants. By defeating them within the ritual site, you can then activate the effigy and fight them again as they are revived by dark magic, all whilst various plagues will try to kill you. Defeating the revived monsters causes their blood to go to the effigy to be used as tribute. After the encounter, use the tribute you earned to acquire rewards. These rituals, unlike their in-game counterparts, will not exclusively reward unique items, and instead will give you a bunch of items useful for leveling, like currency for crafting your gear alongside a bunch of equipment. Ultimately, in every area, you get to kill some monsters and then go on a small shopping spree. However, we know people liked having unique item rewards from Ritual, and we wanted that to still be present in the campaign, but we just couldn't give one out in every single area. Throughout each act, 2 times, and once in each interlude part,
Ritas
you'll see
in the
these
chat
clusters
talking
of
shit.
more epic
They
ritual
already
effigies
said
on the
that
world map.
055 was going to be an event or a
When you
remix or
reach these
something.
areas, you'll notice that unlike normal, the effigies aren't just in a random location in the area, but they're on top of the area's boss
Not in
fight.
my chat, I am
By
talking this
completing
chat
these
in the
boss
stream,
rituals,
right?
the boss
You
will
guys
then
are
be
not
carried
the-
forward
what-
and
who I
added to
am
the
talking
next
about.
ritual in the
I am
cluster in the
talking this
next
chat
area,
in the
where you'll face
embedded
it as
stream.
part of an increasingly dangerous series of boss waves. For example, the first cluster you'll encounter is shown here, containing large effigies in Clearfell, Mudburrow, the Grelwood, and the Grim Tangle. If you complete the ritual in Clearfell, the Hag boss will appear during the
They were
ritual in the
complaining that the
Mudburrow,
league mechanic is
alongside
ritual.
the Devourer.
But it was obvious that there
Once you've
was going
completed
to be
that area,
a new
the
league
ritual
mechanic.
in
They
the
already
Grelwood
said
will
that a
include
while ago.
Brambleghast, alongside the Hag and the Devourer.
In fact, it is cool that they are doing an event at all.
Then, to top it off, when you get to Grim Tangle, the ritual in that area will have its boss, the Rotten Druid, and the
By the
previous
way, in the
3,
infographic we
totaling
saw that
4
there is
boss
no
fights
new
and 1
ascendancy,
epic
guys.
final showdown.
So no shape-shifting
That's where
ascendancy
the
for the
unique
druid. They will
rewards come
spin
into
the wheel.
play. By completing these epic boss ritual encounters, you then get to spend your tribute on unique items. Given ritual is the content of the league, we wanted to make sure it worked in multiplayer well. Historically, only the creator of the area gets to spend tribute at the end, while your friends just have to watch. We've made some improvements to this experience. In 055, every party member earns their own tribute and can spend it on their own rewards, so no one has to miss out. In order to make it not too rewarding in groups, we've restricted it so party members are unable to reroll the shop and they have fewer options available to choose from. So that's the campaign and a multiplayer improvement, but what about the endgame? Given that ritual was already available to be added to your maps, well, once you reach the endgame, you'll still have ritual encounters in every area, and they'll still give unique items and omens, but we've added one extra mechanic here to add new difficulty and reward heights to your in-game maps. After completing rituals in endgame, you want to keep an eye out for this item, a Sacred Bloom, which you can spend tribute on to acquire. If you happen to find one, you can then use it and apply an entrance to the Wildwood to an in-game map of your choice on the Atlas. Then, when you enter that map, you'll find this entrance at the start of the area. By entering it, you're sent into the Wildwood.
Like in POE2,
You have
boss.
limited time here, but while in the Wildwood you can find wisps, and you want to follow the trails of them and collect as many as possible. There are 3 different types of wisps: Primal, Vivid, and Wild. When you then have to exit the Wildwood, the wisps are freed and will spread across the map, possessing and influencing many monsters. Primal wisps, when freed, can cause normal monsters to become magic monsters. Vivid wisps, when freed, can add additional modifiers to rare monsters. And wild wisps add rarity of items dropped to all monsters. If you're really lucky, keep an eye out for these sacred wisps. I wonder what they do. Of course, you can gather all 3 types of wisps if you really want to juice your maps. And by using ritual tablets, you can increase the amount of wisps found while in the Wildwood. Be warned though, while affected monsters drop better items, the wisps also empower them, making them considerably more difficult to defeat.
That is fine.
So, that's the Forbidden Rites event. While it isn't a full league in the traditional sense, it gives you the perfect opportunity to start in a fresh economy.
Nice.
For
love
those
it.
of you who enjoy having clear goals to work
Challenges!
towards,
Let's go!
this event league also introduces a new set of 8 challenges.
W!
These include completing the campaign rituals, defeating named rare monsters, reaching level 90, and more. Completing them will earn you 4 exclusive cosmetic rewards and a statue for your hideout to commemorate your success. Swarm your enemies with the Locust Footprints effect, and send your foes scurrying to their demise with the Locust Swarm Finisher effect. Fear the dark no longer with your Wildwood Guardian pet at your side, and level up in fashion with the Wildwood Affliction level up effect.
Nice.
Next, let's talk about the Trial of Chaos.
Okay.
Since Early Access launched, we've received a lot of feedback about the Trial of Chaos.
Sé que
It
más
was
is
just
worse.
obvious that it wasn't good enough. So we've gone through pretty much every part of this trial and made improvements across the board. There's so much to cover here, so let's just fire away with
Don't
some of the
destroy
more
my boy,
important
please.
changes. Starting with a banger. You can now leave the Trial of Chaos between rooms and resume later at your leisure.
Nice. Thank God for that.
Alongside improving almost every aspect of the encounter types, we've made far more of the rooms just about slaying all the enemies, instead of the more specific objectives like escorting the statue or implanting soul cores. We've increased the size of that pesky elevator and made them more responsive. We've made the doors between rooms open quicker and from further away. We've shortened the distance between rooms to have less running. We've added a lot more inherent scaling to the area and to the Trial of Sekimas too, to account for the lack of Atlas Tree. We've made the Trial Master only time freeze to spawn in all the monsters once at the start of the run, instead of in many of the rooms. On top of that, we have done a full pass on all the modifiers, making them significantly less dangerous at lower tiers, and rising to the same difficulty at their maximum tier. Additionally, all the modifiers now grant bonuses to item rarity too. The modifiers now also have better descriptions, being
Okay,
more
this is
explicit
W's,
about
guys.
what danger you're signing up for.
W's all
We've
around.
also
W's all
added a new
around.
kind of modifier, called a wager modifier. These are meta mods that can significantly increase the danger and reward of your trial. For example, this one increases the tier of every modifier already applied to your run, but in exchange for that, doubles
I
all
will
the
pick
currency
this
you've earned so
100%
far in
of
the
the
run.
time.
There's about a dozen of these, and they have some pretty interesting effects. Sometimes you want to apply them early in the run, other times late. They add a very cool dynamic element to the mod selection between rooms. The Uxmal the Beast Lord boss fight in the Trial of Chaos has had its arena redesigned entirely. Less
Thank
flying,
God, this was
more
annoying.
attacking. The more significant elite monsters that spawn during the Trial of Chaos are now more dangerous, but more rewarding. Speaking of rewards, you can now also find these chests between each room to get some bonus items for your efforts. And the rewards available when choosing modifiers no longer offer random corrupted items, now exclusively offering only currency items and soul cores.
Thank God.
And we've done a full balance pass on those too, to make them more powerful, alongside adding some new ones to the trial and endgame. Speaking of the trial and endgame, for those looking for a greater challenge, you'll no longer need to have to stop after 10 rooms. You can now continue all the way to room 30, with the difficulty and rewards escalating as you progress. Combined with the previously mentioned wager modifiers, the rewards of these runs can get very, very juicy.
This is for me, papi!
Reaching these later rooms will also allow you to obtain all 3 Trial Master fragments in a single run, giving skilled players a clear and reliable path towards facing the Trial Master rather than leaving their progress entirely to chance. We've moved the functionality of the wager currency mechanic from magic inscribed ultimatums that could drop from the Trial Master into the base mechanic. This can be accessed at the end of every 10th room. Overall, this is a much more polished version of the Trial of Chaos,
Big W,
and
big
we think
W.
it addresses many of the concerns players have
This is going
raised
to
over
be
the
my
past
farm,
several
boys.
months. When we introduced the new endgame in Return of the Ancients, we wanted the journey through the fortress to feel epic, and it was. But your first time progressing through it, it is a massive undertaking. With a fresh economy, we wanted to make the fortress easier to complete. So in 055, we're making some changes. After completing the main questline, you can now just venture out of the fortress and find another Arbiter of Divinity key. By defeating this more difficult version of the boss, all remaining sections of the fortress will be automatically completed.
W!
Now, onwards to Abyss. We're introducing a new Atlas feature centered around it. We wanted to add more things to find when exploring the Infinite Atlas. So, we've added these new abyssal ravines that can appear. Each map on the ravines has abysses in it, and as you complete each along it, the next map gets more and more rewarding as you push the Abyssal Legion back. When you reach the last map on the ravine, you'll have a guaranteed Abyssal boss encounter. The Forbidden Rites event will not have Runes of Aldo content in each area. But fret not. Pharaoh, Danig, and Expedition content is still going to be available in the Atlas as core, and that includes standard leagues. You can now continue to find expeditions in-game, but from Act 4 onwards. In the endgame, expedition tablets will now be available, allowing for some new levels of investment into the league. Such as having 2 full expeditions in just one area, alongside up to 2 standalone remnant encounters. With tablet mods, you can now even get many sentries per expedition, resembling an almost sentry minion build as you run around and apply runic modifiers to monsters across the maps. The existing Runes of Aldo League will continue to run, so if you want to keep playing there, finishing your endgame and completing challenges, feel free to do so. So that's all our new content summarized for this Event League and 055 update. In case you didn't see it alongside Path of Exile 1's release for Curse of the Allflame, here's a reminder to check out our supporter packs and mystery box that release with it, which are now fully available for use in Path of Exile 2 as well. These include the Plague and Remedis supporter packs, and the Curse of the Allflame mystery box, with some epic items including armor sets, weapon skins, weapon effects, map devices, hideouts, a new tracking scroll, some otters, and much more. If you would like to purchase the Curse of the Allflame mystery box, it's available now through the in-game shop and Path of Exile 2 website. For more information, head to pathofexile2.com/mystery box for all the details. We'll also be releasing some cool new armor sets and skill effects alongside this release.
Hey, those looks cool.
Check
those
these
look
out.
Cool.
If you're interested, keep an eye out on the store with the new release. Thanks for your support. Now, we had originally thought we were going to deploy a much larger balance pass in this patch, but unfortunately, with all the other work going on for our 1.0 release, we were not able to get these changes ready in time. It's been a lot more work than we expected, so rather than deploy something substandard, we decided it would be better to take our time with the balance changes and just release the Event League anyway. All those balance changes that were slated for 055 will now be happening in 1.0 instead. The full release patch is shaping up to be a huge one, and if you haven't done so yet, you can acquire exclusive milestone rewards just by signing up at pathofexile2.com for the 1.0 full release. Also, we hope you join us for ExileCon on November 7th New Zealand time to see what else we've been cooking up. But in the meantime, we hope you enjoy the Forbidden Rites event, which starts at the end of next week. See you in Rayclast. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D, so get your questions ready.
Okay, boys, overall for me, I only overall W's all around, but there are 3 things that I will complain about. The things that I don't complain about, you know that I think are fine. The first build showcase for Source was a range build, meaning they are not thinking about this problem that the game has about melee versus range. Second thing I will complain about is this last thing, no balance patch. They are reserving it. Okay, I understand it is a lot of work or whatever, but now you are leaving the balance for 1.0 untested, so you don't know if the balance is going to be dog shit. you were supposed or to do it in 055 or at least in another patch in 1 month from now or something.
G'day and welcome back, Exiles. Joining you from around
I
the
also
world.
don't like no
and
changes to
video
tablets, by
Australia,
the way.
We've got Jonathan over at Gamescom, and we've got Mark in New Zealand. So we're all over the place this time, coming at you remotely for some Q&A to talk about what we saw with the Duelist today, the 0.55 event update, and various
I will go
other
pee real quick.
questions
Give me a
that you might
second.
have in a bit of a mini Q&A session. Thanks for joining us from all over the place, folks. Jonathan, you're at Gamescom at the moment, where some lucky people are able to actually play the Duelist. How's it been going?
Absolutely. So yeah, it's honestly been great. It's really good to see players just be able to play and experience the game. It's always fun. But my voice is actually a bit screwed right now because I've been kind of yelling over the loudness of the Gamescom. Trying to explain complicated Duelist mechanics, in yelling form. So my voice is a bit messed up. So hopefully you guys can forgive that. But it's always fun talking to to players and journalists and seeing what they think.
Yeah, have you been able to get some good kind of in-person feedback there, since you're right there with people as they're playing?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's great. We've also got Kevin, who's been one of the designers, doing work on the Duelist as well. He's been able to get direct feedback, talk to players as well. It's been really good.
Awesome. And Mark, you're over in New Zealand, where you were just working on the endgame builds that you showcased in that video there, which were pretty spicy. How are things going over there in the studio?
Well, I'm at home right now, but it's been pretty hectic. It always is for these deadlines, just pulling everything together. But these in-game builds we just had to put together in the last, honestly, it felt like the last week really is when I was like, okay, we've got to theory craft some epic shit. Let's put it together. And came up with, I said made by developers. Technically that is true, but I kind of theory crafted both of them and was like, let's get cranking. And they both seemed pretty fun. I mean, they were definitely fun to play. Hopefully they were fun to watch, but there's a lot more as well. So there's good dozen builds I had in mind, and I was like, oh, we were going to go with them, and we're going down a whole bunch of different paths, and it just kind of ended up, I was like, I want to do something traditional that uses a bunch of swords and something demonic, because why not? So it was quite interesting that I ultimately just got to pick a fantasy and then make it happen. But of course, the difference between me making builds and players making builds is you have to make a build with what works, whereas I make the build and then I'm like, go and make it happen, development team. Thank you. So
change the balance until it works, basically.
Yeah.
Make this a thing. Well, you certainly have a lot to work there with the Duelist. There is a lot going on there. I know, Jonathan, you personally were just telling me earlier that you're very excited for the Duelist in particular, and that it's the most fun that you've had with the game so far, or something to that effect.
Absolutely. I really love this class. I really love melee combat in games. It's something that I really enjoy. And this one really, honestly, I would say finally kind of delivers something that I would say is peak melee in an ARPG. I honestly really love it.
The first thing you showed was range.
Intricacies to the skill design in this class that's really interesting. I don't think we've ever sort of woven so many different ways to kind of do mechanics with all the different with all different skills. Every skill is designing 3 or 4 skills, honestly, just due to all the different ways that you can use them. But at the same time, it's all quite diegetic, by which I mean you kind of there's metal in the ground, you electrify it, and now it's zapping things and things it's all kind of obvious in some ways, but also kind of complicated too, because there's just so many ways you can use everything.
There's a ton of nuance to it, but so I had a chance to play it last time I was visiting, a couple months back, and there's some sort of intuitiveness to how the skills end up working together, where you can almost play without reading some of those descriptions, I think, which is good, because there's a lot of descriptions you did have to write for those.
It's actually kind of interesting in the studio, because the people who are more stat focused are actually the ones that feel the class is more complicated, and the ones who just take it as they see it. Because if you look at the number of stat sets, it is kind of crazy, because you'll have it's you've got a buried blade explosion, and then you've got to be then buried blade when it's got electricity, and then buried blade explosion with electricity, with electricity, right? Or versus just the electrical hits, and it just ends up being half a dozen stat sets on every skill that you, which is what we call the different tabs that you see on the skill gem. So if your first experience of the game is looking at the skill gem hovers and looking at every single stat set, then you're not necessarily in for as good of a time as if you just try out the skill and see what it does. I guess that's sort of quite different than what a lot of our skills have been in the past. But I honestly really love it, just because there's so many interesting ways to use the skills.
With this, just having such an extensive set of like skill interactions compared to anything you've had so far, how challenging is designing this one and getting it to work and be playable in that way, being, say, compared to the Huntress and the Druid?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is one of the hardest classes to design, and a lot of it was like, okay, swords are pretty much the most generic weapon ever, right? And you ask like 10 different people what a sword does, and they'll give you 10 different answers. Like there are certain fantasies, and we kind of had to make sure we were delivering like pretty much anyone's fantasy of a sword, and there's like quite a few different ones, right? So, you know, you have to go through. But I think the kind of like thing that ties it all together is that to me, swords are about like the kind of that flow feeling. That's what I kind of wanted to nail. And
that was the word I used earlier to describe the animations,
so it took a lot of iteration to get there. I went through so many different designs of the way that swords could work. And eventually it's funny because the whole blood and sand thing wasn't even part of the initial design. And at some point I realized that some of the stuff that we were designing was coming kind of close to that. And I'm like, oh yeah, hang on. In POE1, we've got this blood and sand theme. What if we actually took that and like effectively used that theme on top of some of the mechanics we were designing? And then it all kind of really rapidly came together after that. Like we suddenly realized like, yeah, this is sort of the feel, like the theme of like physical stuff that we can go with.
They call it blood and sand, but then the class is not a gladiator or a duelist.
So
make sense.
Really happy with the way that ended up.
Yeah, the stance thing in particular, I remember when I was trying it, like, and you're talking about flow and how important that was. And I remember I was having an issue where I really wanted to get into ready stance and then move to the next monster to execute my next skill.
Right.
But that would break ready stance. But I noticed that that's something that you've solved in the new iterations. You've got this way that can even carry through now.
Yeah, so since you played that, we added the idea that there are some skills that you can use without breaking ready stance, and in particular, the rending dash that you can use to sort of dash from one place to another. Having that be an option that you can do without breaking ready stance sort of allows for that repositioning that you can do, and it honestly speeds up quite a lot what you can do. I didn't use it that much in the demo that I was showing, but for actual like practical play, I highly recommend using it because you know, if you're someone who likes to zoom around, then using that skill can really add quite a lot to what you're doing.
I think people are probably a little bit confused in general about like the ready stance and the blood and sand as well. So how do those just effectively work ultimately?
Yeah. So fundamentally what you've got here is that there are two different, at least two that we showed, ready stance skills. One of them kind of moves backwards as more defensive, and that's the sand one. If you stun a monster with that, then it's going to put you in sand stance. The other one is moving forward, more aggressive, and that one, if you hit a parried monster, it's going to put you in blood stance. So if you're into the sort of parry gameplay early on, then
so you have to be doing this here to be changing stances. It is not like you press a button and you change a stance.
Then you can go that way.
I don't want to be parrying to enter my stance.
Charges as well. So one of the questions that we often get is like, oh, you know, what if I don't want to parry? What if I don't want to do the stun stuff? And frenzy charges effectively act as your bypass.
Yo, Douglas, Mauricio, Red Vortex.
Combat frenzy is like a good way to be able
I am sorry if I don't talk much. It is that I don't want to overlap their speech.
There's even other ways as well. So there's also support gems that allow you to get blood and sand without having to even do either of those skills as well, and like quite a few different options. Like there are actually a huge number of different options that
got a couple uniques as well. We've got at least one sand stance unique and one blood stance unique right now that weren't shown.
And then there's also the thing of getting blood on the ground as a way to get blood on things like Cyclone. I actually didn't realize this was going to happen, but in one of my demos, I had one of those vampire monsters from Act 1, and it's like used one of those blood pools on the ground, and that actually triggered the blood. And I had no idea that we actually had done that even. Like I didn't realize that those blood pools technically were the same mechanic. So yeah, you could like get blood-coated Cyclone from just playing against one of those vampire monsters.
Well, that sort of touches on one of my other questions then. So like some people, I think, especially people who maybe just played a little bit of parry when Huntress first came out, and obviously since then it's changed quite a bit. But about parry, some people are definitely worried about parry. Like they see that as like a negative for a class to be focused on that because of the bad experience they might have had with it or something. So how has parry changed or been improved here? And also how like mandatory is it for the duelist playstyle there?
Well, certainly we didn't want it to be mandatory because that was one of those things we did with the Huntress where parry was really important for that class initially, and we wanted to make sure that it wasn't here. That being said, it is a duelist. I want parry to be a thing for it, so like, you know, we did want at least one of the archetypes to involve that. But at the same time, one of the big issues that we've had with parry, kind of two things really. Like it just comes down to unreliability. So there's a new change that we've just implemented for parry, which was actually quite complicated to do, and it's a little bit complicated to explain as well. But effectively, what we've done is we've made it so that when you're parrying, your character is effectively enlarged against skills that are parryable So that means that you'd kind of have this problem before where you'd feel like you would try to parry something and it looked like the monster would kind of hit you, but it just didn't. And that was happening all the time, and like one of the frustrating things about parry. So what we've done is now that we've made this change, it means that monsters hit you much more reliably when you're parrying, and so it just makes the whole thing a lot better. But the other issue that we had as well is just boss fights. Like some boss fights just don't really have a lot of parryable attacks. And that's where the shield thing comes in. We can do the shield bash to allow you to parry a monster even when they're not attacking you. So that one's
That is
kind of
a
like,
good thing.
it also can be used during clearing as well. But I sort of saw that as fixing like
This
the
will
boss
allow
fight
you to
problem, like,
use
just some
parry
bosses just don't have
bonuses
abilities
on
that you can
command.
parry. So it makes the whole thing a lot more reliable in any context right there. So both of those changes
I think this
together
can
really
make
do
parry
improve the
stuff
field quite a lot compared
playable,
to what we had
because
before.
you are not going
And,
to actually
honestly, like,
parry
I love
attacks.
to parry
You are just going to
personally, but
apply the
even
parry
with that,
tag,
we know
the
it's not for
parry
everyone,
bonus.
so we want to make sure there's other options too.
Yeah, that shield, the buckler shield bash parry was super satisfying when I was messing around with that. So
You know what I mean? You won't care about parrying attacks. You will just bash the dude to give it the parry, and then you do another shit.
Like it's just kind of like an extra thing on your native skill that you've got, like, you know, just the shield that you've got right from the beginning. You know, normally people don't look at the videos for like the base skills like that. Like technically there are videos for it. If you go to the alt menu, you can get to it. But yeah, like nobody's really digging into there.
Apparently, something is happening with Twitch because you guys are saying, and these people in here too, my Twitch is fine, so I won't touch
Hopefully
anything.
that'll slowly make its way through the community.
yeah, I was going to ask because like I didn't even know about that until you told me about it later. What were you saying?
Yeah.
A couple more parry things there for a bit later as well. We have a not that I'm trying to spoil everything. We have a new reservation skill called codenamed Arcane Parry right now, which is effectively it charges up, and then when you parry, it does a much more significant shockwave comes out of you, just to like allow for a lot more area of effect coverage.
That means that all those monsters get parried as well, by the way. So the point of this is to effectively make it so that, like, we had this thing before where there was a period there where parry was like, you had a really, really huge range, and it was good for endgame, and but we didn't really like that it was so non-physical. So by adding like this kind of like effect to it and actually making it into a mechanic that you can do with a spirit reservation, now it becomes a thing that we can much more readily accept, and it is a good way to actually make parry viable in endgame as well, by just making it hit like a much larger area.
That parry fix where you're enlarged, is that in 0.55 or is that a 1.0 alongside Duelist change?
It's probably in 1.0, I would imagine.
1.0.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it would be 1.0.
All right. What were you saying?
But yeah, we also have a new unique helmet coming, which causes your. And we also have
for the win.
We're currently trying. We're hoping we can get this, but just so that if people want to play two-handed sword and want to still engage with it, we're trying a two-handed sword base type that grants parry, and you can parry with that. So that'll be a very specific base type.
I'm excited about that.
Base type.
Yeah.
I was definitely a little sad to see that you couldn't parry with the two-hander, but I kind of get not wanting them all to be the same. So having the differences there, because so you can parry with the dual wield swords, which is obviously a unique thing to swords, and you can parry with the buckler, all the armor evasion shield bases, right? Like the other ones as well. So
I cannot send a message.
Those, but
I want them to ask about charms.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it does make more work for yourselves. That means even more animations, right? You have to make a two-handed parry animation now.
But I cannot send messages because Twitch is full.
It's fine.
I was going to ask about the animations actually, because these are definitely sort of the cooler animations that we've seen so far, and also just in general, like some of the coolest sword animations I've seen in any game. Even noticing like, some real kind of like authentic aspects to some of the movements and stuff. Like obviously it's over the top, like giant sword slams and stuff, but some of the like movements in like say the Cyclone and the way the swords twist around and the swords are handled and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, there's someone knows sword stuff on your team.
It has done a phenomenal job, not only of the animation itself, but also just researching stuff. And I actually had someone at Gamescom, like a journalist, say to me that they actually know how to, you know, they've used a sword and done some like, you know, blade practice. And the first thing he said to me was, oh, you know, like, did you like hire anyone to like advise about this? And it's like, no, one of our animators just really interested in this stuff. And what they do is he's got like a, you know, weighted plastic blade that he's got in the studio, and he can film video reference of himself like doing things, and sort of get some of that.
That guy is a
get
giga
video
chat.
that he can use to kind of work out how to do the movements. But he's just really interested in
Giving a
all
race.
this kind of
Giving
stuff.
a
He does
race.
lot of
That
research,
guy is a
like,
giga
watching
chat.
YouTube videos of actual people like doing this stuff, and like it's resulted in like just a really amazing looking set of animations. Like honestly some of the best animation work we've done.
Yeah, I would have believed if you had said like, oh yeah, we had some Heba guy came in, we mocapped them or something. So that's really impressive work. So some great stuff. Yeah, it looks super wicked. But at the same time, like you've also not been afraid to go a bit over the top there. One of the press images with
Well,
a gigantic anime.
Yeah. I mean,
hilarious.
there has to be some level of anime inspiration if you're talking about swords for certain things. Like I said before, like everyone's got different fantasies about what being a swordsman means, and the sort of anime sword thing is definitely one of those. So yeah, we kind of had to have it.
Yeah, you've tried to touch on all of those. You definitely got that dash in kind of nothing personal anime thing where they slice and then fall apart afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure if we even showed that in the video really, but we actually have some new tech now where all the monsters are capable of being sliced into pieces. So it actually works like all the monsters are being like split up, and then we can. It's actually a mechanic. You know what? Actually, one of the in-game builds had it, didn't it? Where you slice monsters up. And then we've even got mechanics to take advantage of that, like the one that makes so that some of the chunks explode after they get sliced up. Yeah, so it's an actual thing now. We kind of originally did it just as a visual cool thing, but we turned it an actual game mechanic as well now. So that's kind of interesting too.
I had the meat chunks on bleed. I think we're calling them meat chunks internally. Meat chunks on bleed, but I didn't have the meat chunks on slice and dice or whatever.
Right, okay, you didn't know that one.
No, that's a different build.
Right.
All up, I know that this has been a pretty challenging class to showcase, and it's something we chatted about quite a bit, how you wanted to like show, the campaign and the end game. And I think like having both of those here in this showcase has been really good for people so they can see and have like kind of like that full picture. Obviously, one of the slower technical stuff to show like how the animations work, how the interactions work, and then you wanted the end game to show.
Do you guys think they will do another event before 1.0, or this is the last thing before 1.0?
You can manage to communicate the duelist here, because I feel like it's a hard thing to nail down without actually playing it.
Mostly because, like, you can see the fluidity, sort of, but you don't really know how it feels. So, I mean, honestly, one of the reasons why we're so keen to demonstrate it at Gamescom, so a bunch of people can get their hands on it. Yeah, honestly, it's just been really good. Like, a lot of people really enjoyed it. So I think I was a little bit worried, right? Because, like, I was worried, like, will people understand ready stance and so on? And we were so worried about it. We're like, okay, we need to have some like signs up that explain ready stance. We need to make sure there's a tutorial in this Gamescom build that we've got for this, just for that to make sure it works. And if all else fails, we've got Kevin who can just walk around and tell people if they're not doing it. That's the just like really certain that everyone understands the mechanic. But yeah, like honestly, once you feel it, once you feel the flow, it totally makes sense. And honestly, even like some of the design meetings I'll have, I'm just like sitting there, just like doing ready stance attacks. I'm like, oh, like I'll sometimes just like lose track of time just sitting there like doing it. It's just so fun to actually do. Yeah, I really enjoy that part.
So those endgame builds look very spicy. I know a fear was that like some people would feel that swords were too weak or too slow because you were showing just that early campaign side of things. Yeah. But if anything, after seeing like those endgame builds, I'm wondering like almost the opposite. Is like, is there a risk here that like the endgame power level of players just becomes so high that opportunities to enjoy some of that deeper gameplay is becoming like too far and like too few and far?
It is a potential concern for sure. Balance will be tricky, I suspect, to get right. All those things you saw are like the current balance, but maybe Mark, you've got some more theories about that.
Those builds when they were getting filmed, I was like, they're just too strong. They're too strong. And I think even Jonathan, you had some feedback. You're like, just make them a little bit weaker. Like you don't need to one hit literally everything. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we're already filming these in tier 25 map equivalents with like
There was a problem at one point like that.
I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But yeah, they're just there's some obviously though with like putting together a class for demonstration purposes for like a convention and to put together these builds. Like obviously we still have some more work to do with respect to the balance kind of side of things, but
or if I did one, I
definitely
probably wouldn't have gotten
right now. Some of that dust has to calm down, but that's okay. We'll get there. These things take a lot of time to iterate on, and of course, we have till December 11th to do that. So I'm not concerned about the amount of time. In fact, we've never had a class this ready with this much time, so that's a good thing. But yeah, it means we can make even more builds, get even more ready, have the balance be ideally in the best spot. Hopefully players will agree, but we'll see. But yeah, definitely. I would say right now it is too OP for sure. Like, I've played through the campaign a whole bunch of times on it, and I'm just like, I shouldn't be this powerful. Like comparatively with everything else. Like I get that people at Gamescom might not have the same kind of, because like that's you're starting in Act 5, you're on a pre-made character. What is the gear even like? It's like not necessarily optimized and all of that. So, people there are probably going to have a different experience.
And remember, people are going to be playing Souls 100% in 1.0. So if those are overpowered, people are going to destroy
tier 25
the campaign.
map. What does that mean? We have, obviously, we can just set the levels of any area. That is a tier 25 map equivalent of filming for those in-game builds. So, yes, there are some power concerns, but it's, again, with this much time, it should be pretty easy to deal with it. It's nothing new, really.
Yeah, I mean, so this is like way earlier than you've ever been able to showcase class. So getting that hands-on in the public, it gives you lots of time to make those tweaks and see all those points that people are like, oh, people keep missing this detail as you're going around and being like, oh, you can do that. You'll get to kind of learn where those pain points potentially are. Mark, I noticed a bejeweled implicit on Oro's sacrifice. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, okay, I've mentioned a few cool base types. So we just to clarify, there was the two-handed sword with readied stance. With parry, right? And these are base types. So we've put a lot of effort into making the base types of swords real like epic. And honestly, I want to then propagate it to every other weapon type. To be honest, so we've got, just to clarify before we get to bejeweled, we've had. Parry two-handed sword. We showed a base parry duration one-handed sword. What was the other one we showed? Two-hander. There was the buried blades are ancestrally boosted that we showed in that video. And then Oro's sacrifice has bejeweled, which is the base type property of the Twilight longsword, I believe it's called. And it means that item comes with a dual socket instead of regular sockets. So it's not necessarily better, but it's sort of interesting, and it's trying to just create a bunch of different things with all the different base types where
this is the only sword we need.
That whole
if this is not in the game, I will boycott the fucking game. This is the only sword we need.
A lot of weapons, you probably get like 5 base types in in-game, maybe 6.
I won't boycott
pretty much the entire sword line will have a end-game counterpart with all the implicits, just because we've put a lot of cool stuff there. And you do still have your traditional, here's the one that's high attack speed, here's the one that's got some crit, here's the one that's just the bonk damage and all of that. But then all the others we've tried to make sure have really special implicits, and that includes the base type of Oro sacrifice. So yeah, hopefully people enjoy it and think it's cool, but I definitely was pretty excited about it. And honestly, I find now the base type itself like has some build enabling properties, which I would say hasn't really happened before. So I'm excited to see having that extra axis of like, damn, what sword do I want to use? There's like 3 or 4 options here. I don't know what to do. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I love these bases with like weird implicits that do interesting things like that. So I hope that is something you propagate out to the rest of the game there. Love it. Let's talk about what's coming up in the nearer future for people to get their hands on with. But first, you did mention that you were hoping originally to get a big balance pass in 0.055 in the lead up to launch, but now that's the bulk of that at least is being pushed until launch. Is there some stuff that you feel like you really want to get in before then, though? Is there anything that you do want to get into 0.55 potentially?
Well, want to and realistically possible are the two things that are at clash here. I wanted to get all of it in. It just wasn't coming together in a way that wasn't just going to... Like the things with this is you can't like half-ass it and deploy it. If you remove all of X and don't do all of Y, it's just like, okay, why did you just remove all of that? I don't understand. And we weren't just able to bring those packages of changes together. especially while we've got a whole new class in development, getting fully balanced and prepared. And that made it even twice as hard because, as Jonathan's mentioned in the past, and we've talked about, every single time we make a new class, we end up changing every system under the sun. And then we want some of those in and some of those not in. And it was just this giant ruckus of, it's like a kind of just massive writhing changes everywhere. And it was so hard.
Literally just merging the changes was a disaster. Like just like picking the things, like the commits, like do these ones go in, do those ones not go in? Like we're in the middle of doing like a massive bleed revamp in order to do the duelist, and yet we also want to try to somehow like what parts of that need to go in, what parts don't, and you know, like it's just like such a crazy puzzle. And we are at the point where literally like our producers were like, we don't know if we can even make a build of this. Of like what you want, like we've got a bunch of changes. We don't think we can even create a build that works in the timeline that we need it to be. So yeah, it was challenging even on that level. But not only that, there was the issue of just like more changes were needed, like more things needed to actually happen as well.
For example, to support echoing strikes, we had to make it, we effectively refactored our entire cloning system, which kind of touched on every single skill in the game. And it's like, okay, well, we don't want that because it's untested, has a bunch of ramifications and stuff we still need to iterate on. Yet now any change we have to make to every single skill now has a conflict when we're trying to merge it to the actual build. And honestly, it was just turning into an absolute disaster. And it was like, okay, this just isn't going to be ready, and we're just going to have to keep delaying it, and to the point where like, what are we even going to get here? And yeah, it just wasn't really feasible, honestly, and it was causing us, I mean, honestly, I would say that working around all of that was making everything take significantly longer, and then all of a sudden now we're getting less done because we're having to work around that, and it was just not coming together. And it is sad, and I am real gutted about it because there's a lot of like real cool
it's still
stuff there.
disappointing that I don't get balance changes, but I understand.
Reworks, we have, you know, many new uniques, reworked uniques. We have just stuff everywhere, and I was like, man, this stuff is cool. And I was even just describing it all to Jonathan and how excited I was about it. And I was like, no, I want it all in there, but it just honestly wasn't production-wise feasible at all. So it's sad.
Go ahead.
It is more for 1.0 though, so that's always good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with it being such like a eldritch horror of interconnected balance changes there, are you worried about putting it out at 1.0 then? Because that was like
no, because the difference is that when we're making like an 0.55 patch, what we're doing is we're taking changes from our kind of like development version, we're merging them in. But when we're going to make a entirely new release, that's what's called a retag. We effectively like take everything that we have on our development version, and it's all going to go live. So there's not like this kind of same production hell that you get when you're trying to like make a build out of parts.
I think he means from the testability sake, maybe.
Well, sure, I guess so. I mean, yeah, there's always that, but look, 1.0 is going to get a hell of a lot of testing. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff to do there. So our QA team will be all over that.
We got more time now to make sure it's right as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Since most of the balance changes are being deferred to 1.0, I won't like dive into too many of the balance related questions at this point, since it's all still obviously quite a ways away. But one of the things we did discuss was the plus levels side of things, and that is probably the one that came up the most. And I know you guys said in the past that you were reviewing some changes in 0.5 from that to see how that they landed. But it does seem like plus levels are still seen as quite a bit of a problem, crowding out uniques and increasing inavailability in some cases as well with some of the stuff from the Runes of Aldor. So how are you feeling about plus level balance overall at this point now, or moving forwards towards 1.0? Is that on your radar?
It is still on the radar, yes. I haven't actually done the changes for it yet, and I don't 100% know exactly what to do, but I mean, we've had probably 15 discussions about it now, so it's one of those, it's turning into the next dexterity for sure. And we'll see. We'll end up somewhere for sure. I just don't know exactly what that is right now, but it's the second on the spreadsheet. There's like a spreadsheet called Mark to do something, and
I will be spamming Rarity.
So it's the
what's number one out of interest?
we're having another balanced meeting today to discuss it. So, what is number one? It's probably just whatever I added last. Number one is reserved for this hasn't been sorted in the list yet.
Okay.
Because I just insert at the top of the sheet when I add stuff. So, and then it gets
I
reprioritized.
see. But that one,
Number
that one
two.
stays at number 2. I see. Okay. Have you guys discussed like some of the things being kicked around? I've seen like I don't know what's a good solution and what's not, and for what reasons here. But have you discussed like maybe like level 30 is the cap that you can reach for gems, or limiting the amount you can get there, or is it more of something you're looking at? Oh, well, it's maybe just about getting the numbers right. Like we just want to bring those down to certain levels. Where do you kind of feel it is?
Caps have, well, there is a cap, but yes, caps have been discussed. I think the important thing we want to do is not kill. Well, honestly, I would say there is a few problems with like caster itemization, and I want to make sure that we don't just take away that itemization. Even very early in the game, caster itemization isn't as good as it could be. But it's really hard when you're dealing with fundamental mod pools. Like even early game runes are not as impactful, obviously, for casters, right? Where you get like flat damage ones for attackers and casters don't, and it propagates all the way through.
It
and
doesn't matter. Casters are already better.
Some, breach caster items, for example, have added some in-game itemization.
You are worried about
there is a more
casters being
fundamental
weak.
problem here for sure.
Melee is weak.
So I don't. I just don't want to make the itemization for casters worse. Let's make it really. That's honestly how it is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you come up with there then.
I get that it extends further than just casters, but like that's the main thing of not wanting to ruin.
Yeah,
I know
there's several discussions there.
Everyone has a different perception of like, what is good itemization or not. I'm talking about just generally what we believe to be good itemization as opposed to
I don't necessarily see an inherent problem with plus levels. I think it's just that the power level of it and its availability is high to the point where it does crowd out other item choices. So it feels like you're, if it's not that, then it's not worth using effectively.
We definitely have a thing right now where every single caster unique that gets made, it's like doesn't have plus gem levels sucks. And even with all of the new uniques we've been making, it's like you kind of want to default to be like, this needs +4, this needs +6, this needs plus, and it's like, do we really have to put this on literally everything?
Yeah,
but to compare, like, in the same way that you're making when you're making a weapon, like generally you can't just be like, nah, I'm not going to put any damage mods on it. So like a martial weapon. So it just doesn't feel quite the same. And I do understand why. I've discussed that before, but anyway, we'll see what happens, but we will do something.
All right. So the Forbidden Rites event, so just to clarify for folks, this being an event is different to a regular expansion. It's a different thing entirely. It's not a league and expansion in that same way. So what of the changes that you talked about are specific to this Forbidden Rites event versus core game changes here as well?
Yeah, so this is our first time ever that we've had a league be both running and core. And we just noticed there was a lot of people still playing Runes of Aldo. We didn't want to end it. So we wanted to keep that running. So we've had to do a large number of hacks to both support something being core and not. But
it's weird.
The tablets are for the event and standard league. So because the league is in every area in Runes of Aldo, you don't get tablets to further it. What else have we changed there? I mean, you don't get remnants in every area during the event, but you can once you start using tablets. And, it's honestly, for those who've obviously played leagues and seen leagues go core, or people who played our previous leagues for POE2, like Fate of the Val, and then, the Temple became core. Ultimately, it should feel like all the content from Runes of Aldo is now in its core state while you're playing in the event and standard leagues. And if you continue to play Runes of Aldo, you should notice no difference. That's pretty much it. We have made some changes. Like obviously, it's not introduced now so currently in the Forbidden Rites event, the content, the characters aren't introduced until Act 4 when you're doing the quest in Act 4. So you won't see any through Act 1, 2, and 3. What else is different there? I think the only other thing we may have, I'm pretty sure we changed it, is which I don't know how people are going to respond to this one, but we've removed from the Forbidden Rights and Standard League, so it's not in the current Runes of Eldur. It didn't want to affect the economy, but Elder's Saga, the mods from it are now in the core mod pool of what can generate on logbooks, as opposed to requiring that item. You'll have to determine the rarity yourself, and then we've
seems like
replaced
I would change.
that outcome from the Remnant
That seems good.
encounters, just so that the entirety of the end game for that isn't just Elder's Sagaing, and that's it.
Awesome. Good stuff. The ritual, speaking of like the end game here for the league, for the new league, the event, the Sacred Bloom from the rituals that lets you add the Sacred Wildwood to maps. How rare are these roughly? Is that something we could be applying to every decent map, or just kind of the most juiced ones because it's going to be rare and valuable?
And is that going to be core?
To get the Wildwood.
It's about 1 in 5 maps to get one and about, but
Okay.
So they are common. They are common then.
So yeah, you're not going to run it every map, but of course it's tradable. So
yeah,
feel free to just go ahead and buy them.
If it is 1 every 5 maps, it shouldn't be that
I think that was a pretty
expensive.
Decent rate, but we may still iterate on that.
That seems like the sort of thing you could easily like afford to run fairly frequently then. With that being the case, back in when we had this before in Affliction League, it was probably the most insane juicing thing we've ever had. So both in terms of difficulty and reward, which is really cool for a number of reasons. Like obviously people like big loot explosions, but also you could make like the hardest monsters of all time outside of like
loot goblins are going to love 055 because you are going to have a lot of
similarly spicy thing for Path of Exile too.
It's obviously pretty hard to compare the drops because it's just an entirely different drop ecosystem. Like, are you going to be having to hover and identify 100 heavy belts in every map? Probably not, but for those who, that is my strict memory of Affliction, is like, I am so sick of looking at heavy belts on the ground. I think they actually got 2 mirrors in that league as well, which I feel like shouldn't happen, but maybe even more than
crazy. I've only ever got one in more.
Yes, I have equal memories of Affliction. Don't worry about that. But the way that the Wisp scale the monsters is a bit different anyway. So instead of just rarity, POE1 did rarity, quantity, and chance for items to be currency, I believe as it was. Instead, here what we've done is blue wisps turn monsters magic. Normal monsters magic, yellow wisps add mods to rare monsters, and purple wisps add rarity to everything. So purple, magenta, if you're stacking rare monsters, obviously yellow and purple is the right combination to get. So are you going to expect the same levels of juice? Hard to say. It should definitely be a good alternate way to juice in-game maps compared to, say, something like Delirium right now. And of course, though, you can stack both of them. So, to some degree, of course, because they both get better with tablets, so they are contesting with one another, but you can just run both and stack it with everything else that is in the in-game currently. So should be pretty out there. Pretty crazy.
Right on. Rapid fire. The Trial of Chaos was the changes there look amazing.
W changes.
Favorite parts of the game.
I will be farming a lot the Trial of Chaos.
There. I love to see that. Is Sekima's likely to get a similar treatment in some way on the way to 0.1.0? It's not as bad in my opinion, but
no, Sekima's is worse.
It is in terms of content, that existing content that needs improving. It is the next. As an actual in content, not like character side or balance or anything. It is the next thing on our list that is the worst. You can't do this to me.
The next worst.
You know how much I sacrifice.
Yes, we definitely want to, but obviously, lot to do for the end of the year. So we'll have to see if we can fit it in, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if not for release, then you'd look at it for 1.1 kind of territory for sure. But honestly, the changes we made to Trial of Chaos are it's so much better. Like, holy, oh my god! And it should never have been in that state. Like, I was writing and reading all the patch notes, and I was just like, we should never have had to write this. This should not have ever needed to have been a patch note. This is like horrendous. And I'm
We'll get
sure
there
when
in
we
the
get
end.
through Trial of Sekimas, we're going to have a similar situation going on. So it's not as bad. At least there's like a kind of strategy there to some degree and ways to make money.
Take
and,
más
you
is
know,
boring.
But yeah, it needs a substantial amount of love for sure.
Awesome. Good to hear it then. So a few more rapid fires on the end game. The challenge level of end game caps out pretty early currently. That's good for build diversity, honestly. But it does mean that there are some limited options for like testing your more powerful characters. Uber bosses and more challenging late game end game content. That's something on the radar for maybe for 1.0 or something.
I don't want to commit to like higher tiers of boss content and difficulty to too much of a degree, especially with respect to Uber bosses, until we have the character balance in the right spot. And in theory, 1.0 should have them in the right spot. But you know how balance goes with these things, with live service products in particular. And similar to POE1, right? It's every single league we have balance changes. So it's one of those infinite tasks. That being said, I definitely don't want to add Uber boss content until we've felt like that's in a stable spot for sure. I actually went out of my way to play a number of kind of atrocious builds this league. Just like I picked literally the worst thing, the things that were being played the least, and I played them. And honestly, fighting those pinnacles with those characters was insanely difficult. And I was like, if we were to add content beyond this, it's just impossible. It's just not going to even be possible. It was actually like, and I played a good character as well. And I was just like, okay, we need to, we've got some work to do here before we go and create a bunch of content that a bunch of players will literally never be able to even achieve, even if they did everything right. Because the character balance is the low end is just not in the right spot at all. And honestly, the very, very top end, the top 1% kind of builds is not in the right spot either. So once we get that, I'm hoping to be able to actually start, thinking about it. Okay, but I mean, the Wildwood will go towards making things harder. So rest assured.
Yeah. Some juicing potential there. There's been a few questions about the state of tablets, focusing on tablet management, trading, rolling them, the work that kind of goes into getting the modifiers that you want for your in-game farming strategies. You get it compared to things like scarabs, which have those set effects. So they've got that double whammy of like random modifiers and the limited uses. What do you like or not like about current tablet design? Is this something you're thinking about at all, or is this kind of the first time you've heard that brought up? How are you guys feeling about tablets overall there?
We've actually discussed it pretty in depth recently when talking about POE1 with respect to like the current state of endgame there and talking about all of the changes we want to make around there and how it compares to POE2 and what parts do we like and not like. Personally, I really like the tablet, the mod rolling side of things. And what we've found is generally over time, there is at least an audience that are more aligned towards wanting determinism, and thus the mod rolling can get phased out. And I actually think that this has been a big part of the discussion where we're looking at this. I feel like by adding more determinism and removing these like random axes, the strategies end up becoming quite dull and then have to just be balanced around that determinism, and then they get neutered, and then you've just lost kind of everything because everything is all equal and everything's all balanced. And it's had that effect, like definitely it's had that effect as to where the fine line is between the kind of mod rolling and the determinism. I'd say that it's something we still have to kind of figure out, but I'm quite happy with how that is right now, where there's like some crazy stuff you can do that requires specific tablets with specific mods. And so, I immediately caught us. We were actually doing this for 055. I was like, all of a sudden I saw a bunch of the really spike modifiers getting kind of like people pushing to nerf this, nerf that, get this in line with the rest of the content. And I was like, let's not do that right now. I think there's one or two that like, okay, I understand the beyond reason, but I was like, let's pull back some of that because I want to actually reevaluate how much power you should be able to get out of these random modifiers as opposed to things that are just baseline always on. So there's still some evaluation to do there, but personally, I'm quite happy with it. I love that you get some tablets that are out of control and cause you to have, well, my recent demonstration, an army of sentinels or sentries following you around, adding runes to everything. We have some crazy stuff with the Expedition. I mean, the Expedition tablet mod is actually a lot larger and has a lot more spike stuff at the top. So I'm actually quite curious to see how people feel about that in the Forbidden Rites, to see how that plays as well. We've tried to make sure that mod pool is larger than the other tablet mod pools to see if that is a something people resonate well with or not well with as well. So yeah, you can. Anyway, my point being, like, we're still discussing it, and we're still kind of testing some stuff with the tablets, and Forbidden Rites will reveal some of that. But ultimately, personally, I'm pretty happy with where it sits overall.
Awesome. Yeah, it's good to hear it's in discussion then. One thing I saw that was like maybe an easy win was to get bookmarks in for the in-game trade, because I think people use that for convenience when trying to trade this stuff, and being able to set those up and bookmark those would be pretty sweet.
Pretty sure that is a thing. So we have favorite trades and recent trades as two things
that is fucking awesome, Papi. Thank you so much. Welcome, guys.
Internally, as of
God bless
yesterday,
ya,
implemented on
baby.
POE2.
Oh hell yeah! Awesome.
I think it was on gamepad and or console, and now it's on keyboard mouse as of yesterday internally, and that I will.
If he wants
we should be able
mods
to get
to
that in
roll, you can
755.
put the tablet in the currency exchange
Easy
without
and good
mod
to hear.
rolling.
Well,
and then
I'll
when you
let
apply it to
folks
the
go,
map,
and we've
it
got a
rolls.
race to prepare for.
The
It's
number.
over to here in just a moment.
Not the
Looking forward to casting out as the grand final of the qualifiers.
Yeah.
It's going to be a spicy one for sure. So thanks very much for joining me, Mark and Jonathan, for the Q&A here once again, and best of luck with the
Thank you
rest
very
of
much
the
for hosting. It's always a pleasure to have you to ask the questions, and hopefully you guys enjoy the Duelist when you finally get to play it on December the 11th when the game comes out.
Look forward to seeing what you have in store for us at ExileCon as well. We'll see you
Yeah,
then,
absolutely.
maybe.
Well, there's certainly a lot more
Thanks,
stuff to
everyone.
announce. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Cheers,
See you
thanks.
later.
Okay, that was fine. A lot of information in there. A lot of information in there. Then all tablets will cost the same and you won't know if it is good or what. That is not what I am meaning. First of all, they won't cost the same because scarabs don't cost the same in POE1, right? So what I am meaning is this. Imagine this. Let's go to modifiers. Tablet. Let's select a ritual tablet, for example. You go to the currency exchange and you buy a tablet that has ritual altars in map, allow rolling favors additional times. This already will have a price because people like this modifier, right? But you don't know if it will be a 1 or 2 or 3 until you apply it to the map. And it is random. Some maps it will be 1, some maps it will be 2, some maps it will be 3. And then you have your mod rolling like Mark wants. But we still have what we want, which is buying the modifier that we want in the currency exchange. And yes, Twitch was broken for everybody. Okay, boys. Okay. We had the 055 reveal. We know what is going to happen. The Forbidden Rites event. The economy reset. The rework to the Trial of Chaos. The Runes of Aldur going core. There are not many balance changes. There are no new uniques. Not that we know of so far. And no new ascendancies. Meaning that I will continue my project of making a new ascendancy for every single meaning that I will continue my project of making a werewolf build for every single ascendancy in the game. We have been working a lot on this. So we are going to continue in 055. But as it is tradition with every new league, we are going to spin the wheel to know what is going to be my league starter. But of course, I will play the werewolf in that league starter to make the werewolf build. But since I am in this project, I will take out of the wheel the ascendancies that I have already done the builds for, right? So that I can continue making these builds. So let's do the ones that I have not done. I have not done the Abyssal Lich, but the Abyssal Lich is pretty end game, so I won't use the Abyssal Lich. So I have not done the Monk. So we have the Acolyte of Chayula. I have not done the Witch. So we have the Blood Mage. I have not done the Ranger. So we have the Deadeye. I have not done the Witch, Infernalist, Invoker, Lich, Martial Artist, Pathfinder for the Ranger. I have not done the Warrior. So we have the Smith of Kitava. We have the Tyrant and the Warbringer. So these are the ascendancies that I have not done werewolf builds for. All the other ascendancies, I have made the werewolf build. The only one that I am missing is the tactician that is going to come out this week, by the way. So we are going to spin the wheel with these ascendancies right here to know what is going to be my league starter and to know what is going to be my next werewolf build guide. What do I want to get? People have been asking for witch builds for a while. In my werewolf builds, people are really excited for the witch builds. So I want to get the witch so I can make these builds. So I will be happy if I get the Lich, the Blood Mage, or the Infernalist. But I also want to play for myself because I like it. I want to play the Warrior. So I will be happy with the Smith of Kitava, with the Tyrant, or with the Warbringer. I am indifferent about the Monk. If I get the Monk, I won't be mad and I also won't be happy. I don't care. But I don't want the Ranger. Fuck the Ranger. I don't want the Deadeye and I don't want the Pathfinder. Those are the last ones that I want to do. Nobody cares about a werewolf Deadeye. Let's be honest in here, boys. So, that being said, let's go. Remember that I do a process of elimination. I spin the wheel. The class that I get gets eliminated and I spin again. The class I get gets eliminated and I spin again. And we keep going until only one remains. That last one is the class that I have to league start. We always respect the wheel. We always do what the wheel says. And I have been successful doing this for a while. By the way, this website, I made this website. This was entirely built by me. I will leave the link in the description. You can see I have the Jazzarus banner in here that you can click and takes you to my channel. Look at that. So I will leave the link in the description. If you want to spin the wheel, you will be able to do so in my own website. It also has a Path of Exile 1 wheel if you want to roll for Path of Exile 1. So let's go! Take out the Deadeye so I don't have to worry about it. Take out the Deadeye right away. The Chalupa. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the Chalupa. I don't care about the Chalupa. Come on. Take out the Deadeye, man. Take out the Deadeye. Stop. The Warbringer, no. He eliminated the fucking Warbringer, man. Okay. Please, take out the Deadeye. Okay? Okay? Stop! Stop! Not the Blood Mage! No! Fuck! Motherfucker was so close! Not the Smith of Kitava. Please, go to Pathfinder. Go! Motherfucker! It is taking out my shit! Take out the fucking Ranger, man! Stop! Go Pathfinder! Okay. This motherfucker is going to give me the Deadeye, right? I am seeing it already. It is going to give me the Deadeye. It is going to give me the Deadeye. I already know how this shit works. It is going to give me the fucking Deadeye. What do I want in here? I want the Lich, the Martial Artist, or the Tyrant. These are the three that I want. Fuck the Deadeye. Go to Invoker. Go to Invoker. Of course. I mentioned that I wanted Lich. Of course you are going to take it out. If I want leash, you are going to take it out because you are not going to give me what I want. Invoker. Okay, I don't care about the Invoker. Take out that bitch. Okay, boys. Okay, boys. There is only one in here that I don't want to get. And I won't mention it. I am not going to mention the one that I don't want to get. But you know which one it is. And there is one that I really want to get. And you also know which one that is. And I am not going to mention it. Keep going! Keep going! Fall! Keep going! Okay, boys. We have one that I really don't want to get. And one that I really want to get. Please, God. Please, dude. Come on, man. Suck my dick! My dick! Suck it! Brother, no! That was the one that I really want to get, brother. Why do I spin the wheel, man? I should have just played Tyrant because I wanted to and not think about it, dude. I should have just played the Tyrant without spinning the fucking wheel, man. Motherfucker. I don't want to play the Dead Eye, boys. It is the most stupid ascendance in the fucking game. I don't want to play that shit, man. Come on, man. And even if I get the martial artist, okay, I get the martial artist. Not that bad. But I wanted the Tyrant, dude. I really fucking wanted the Tyrant, dude. Don't give me the eye, brother. You are going to kill my excitement about the fucking league by giving me the eye. Come on, man. And you motherfuckers say that my wheel is rigged. That I rigged the wheel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yes, I rigged it to fuck me in the ass. This is the worst possible outcome. Brother, nobody cares about the Werewolf Ranger. This not only fucks my enjoyment of the league, this also fucks the content. People wanted a werewolf build for the Blood Mage or for the Leash. People wanted a werewolf build for the Tyrant. People wanted a werewolf build for the Martial Artist. Nobody cares about a werewolf build for the Deadeye. This is the worst possible outcome. It is dog shit in every single way. I hate the Deadeye. It is the worst ascendancy. It is boring. And when I say worst, I don't mean power level. I mean boring, dog shit on fun. And on top of that, nobody cares about the werewolf Deadeye build. Fuck! Meteor Papi, thank you so much.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Meteor Papi, thank you so much for the sub. You are fucking awesome, baby.
Are you not entertained?
God bless you, Papi. Thank you so much for the sub. You have been sub for a while. Let me see the months. 5 months. That is fucking awesome, brother. Thank you so much for the 5 months, dude. God bless you, Papi.
Shut up, bitch.
I won't shut up. Thank you so much, Meteor brother. What did you miss? Well, that we spawn the wheel to decide our league starter. I always decide my league starter by spinning the wheel. And the fucking stupid wheel that was created by me. So it betrayed me. It fucking betrayed me. Gave me the worst ascendancy possible. This was the #1 thing that I didn't want to get, by the way. Because even if I don't want the Ranger, if you are going to give me the Ranger, give me the Pathfinder. No, you give me the Deadeye. Literally, dude, think about it. Think about it. Out of all that were in the board, the Deadeye was literally the worst one. Like, there was no possible worse one than this. This was the literal worst one. The literal worst one. A fucking ascendancy that is entirely related to projectiles, by the way. And I play a werewolf melee build. Nobody cares about the werewolf that I hate it personally. Like, the worst possible outcome. Fuck. Is anybody playing this yet with a werewolf? Let's see. Let's see if there is at least nobody. Nobody is playing a Deadeye with a Lunar Blessing or Lunar Assault ability. 0 people. I am the only retard that is going to do this. Yes, the icicle charts are projectiles, but you cannot do it on command because you have to freeze something and then shred it and then wait for it to explode. I cannot make a build buff in that doctrine. The problem is if you say, but yes, you eventually were going to die. Yes, but I was going to do it as the very last ascendancy. I was already going to be rich with a bunch of leveled up characters and gear, and I was just going to make a build for it and get it out of the way and not even think about it. Now I have to build this dog shit from the ground up. It is very different. My original plan was doing it last, and in one day I do it and get it out of the way. Now I have to league start this dog shit. And for what? For this video that you make fun of me for getting the AI. And then at league start, people are going to ask me, why the fuck are you playing a werewolf Deadeye? Wasn't Oracle better? And I will have to say, yes, of course, but the will fuck me in the ass. I cannot see any fucking lunar anything in POE Ninja. There is nothing you can say other than you were betrayed by your own will. Exactly. My own will betrayed me. And I hope this destroys the narrative that I rigged the wheel. Because last league in POE1, because I got a class that I wanted, which was the Slayer, people told me that the wheel was rigged, that I rigged the wheel. I hope this destroys that narrative, and I don't hear that shit anymore. Of course, I will stream. We will stream 055 launch, obviously. We will be here streaming, boys. Be here. Be here. Get to match and spin again. That is not how it works. I normally try to push the build as far as I can. I could just get to maps and drop the build, but I am not going to do that. But Wolfpack is not the build, man. It has to be Lunar Blessing or Lunar Assault. Wolfpack is not. This is a different build. This is a different build. The basis of the build is Lunar Blessing and Lunar Assault. Wolfpack is a minion. Wolfpack is a companion. It is something else. And if I put Lunar, nothing comes up. Are you going to watch a race? Nah, I don't give a fuck about the race, to be honest with you. Someday I will probably do it when I am more full time, because I think I will be awesome at casting that shit. How do I say this? Like at hyping it up, you know? But not today. Today is not the day. It's still wolf related. It is not the werewolf. It is not the werewolf. You can play Wolfpack without ever turning into a werewolf. That is not the thing. This is what we are going to probably do, by the way. Let me show you the ascendancy. I already thought about this, by the way, because I looked at all the ascendancies when I started this project to see if it was actually doable. Do you think I was going to get into this project if I didn't think it was doable? Of course it is doable. So, we are going to get this shit. Increase effect of your mark skills and cold shots. Increase effect of your mark skills and apply 10 critical weakness to enemies when consuming a mark on them. This is obvious because we use pounds, and pounds applies a mark. So we are going to take advantage of the mark chat because pounds marks, right? So this is good for us. We already have 4 points in here. Gucci. Then we have 4% increase skill speed. This is good for the werewolf. And then we have gain tailwind on skill use and lose all tailwind when hit. We are going to get this. And we go evasion, obviously. Tailwind is good. What the fuck does tailwind give you, by the way? Let's see what tailwind gives you. Tailwind is a stacking buff which grants 1% increased movement speed, increase skill speed, increase evasion rating, and prevent 1% of damage from deflected hits per stack with a maximum of 10 stacks. So obviously, we are going to get tailwind, right? Now we have 6 points. The last 2 points are the ones that I don't know what the fuck am I going to do with them. You could get increased frenzy charge duration and chance when you gain a frenzy charge to gain an additional frenzy charge. I don't play with frenzy charge, so this is option. We also have increased projectile damage and mirage the die. We could get that and slot something in there to get a little bit of extra damage for free. And we have increased projectile speed, which is dog shit for us. And then we get projectile deal 0% more hit damage to targets in the first 5 meters. Point blank is this one. We could get point blank. And this is probably the one that I am going to get, by the way. Just because this is good for single target. The charts that Shred drops. When you hit a frozen target with Shred, you drop shards in the floor that explode. Those shards are projectile. Since we are melee, when those shards explode, we are going to be point blank. So this is going to, you are going to take advantage of the point blank. So the Lunar Blessing shed is not projectiles. Lunar Blessing is not projectile. So it is going to be these two or these two. These 6 are locked in. So you already know what is going to happen. I already spoiled you right there. This motherfucker is level 82. I cannot take advice from this character. But he's definitely playing Lunar something. We are all excited for Swords. I am excited for Swords, but we still have to wait 4 months for that. Does Howl use Frenzy Charge? Not as far as I know. No, Endurance Charges. This skill cooldown can be bypassed by expending an Endurance Charge. And honestly, I don't... You can get the cooldown pretty fast without having to do that. The problem is this, by the way. When you start in here, you get a bunch of dog shit for leveling up, right? I know that I will make it work in the end game. I am not worried about that. But as a league starter, when I start the campaign and all of that, it's going to be really slow because there is nothing good for the werewolf in here. Yes, but start lightning arrow and then you swap to the wolf. I am not going to do that dog shit. I am going to start with the wolf level 1. I am going to make a druid just to stash the talisman that they give you for free in the stash, like a mule. And then I create the league starter ranger, and I go to the stash and I pick up the talisman and I go warrior. I go werewolf level 2 when you get to the town. You are submitting, you are signing yourself up for pain. I know that is exactly what I am doing. Spin to win, which hunter is going to be my 1.0 build? Hey, pace. I like that. I am disappointed with the lack of basic tree balance changes in 055. Same. I understand the reasoning, and I agree with them, and I am happy if everything goes well for 1.0, but I am also disappointed that 055 is going to be the same shit, right? It can also potentially fuck over this project, by the way. The lack of balance changes in 055 can fuck up my whole werewolf project, because I will have 28 fucking guides. I don't know how many ascendancies are in the game, 23, something like that. I will have 23 guides that if the 1.0 balance changes fundamentally change something about those builds, all of those will be obsolete and I will have to review them really fucking fast. I wanted them to introduce the changes in 055 so I could address the old builds, and the new builds I already do them with the changes in mind. But now they could potentially fuck me in the ass in 1.0. So you are starting level 2. There was level 2, my guy. I said level 2. I first said level 1, but then when I said the mule thing, I said, well, level 2 when I get to the stash. They will give me a Spirit Walker for League Star. Let's go. I haven't played it yet. Hey, congratulations. Great day last night. I think pretty much every build creator is feeling that. Yes, obviously. But it is different if you have 3 builds that you are known for than to have 23 builds, right? Very different. But yes, every creator that is known for a type of build is feeling that, obviously. I hope they completely destroy the Twister bullshit. Fuck Twisters. I hate the Twisters dog shit. What is the... Is this the race? Relicario with the Druid, Woodish with the Mercenary, Chacalco with the Huntress, and Argosmus. Angormus has not won a race. 4 races and Angormus has not won. That is weird. Angormus always wins. Imagine he doesn't make it to ExileCon. That would be weird, right? Everybody was expecting Angormus to be in ExileCon. Crimson is not actually playing. He's not playing, he's just commentating.
In a good spot right now, for sure.
Woodish has a pretty decent set of gear at the start going here. A little bit of extra damage on the gloves. Nothing really.
So if Crimson is not playing, then I hope Angormus wins, right? Look at this title. Imagine being hyped for melee in POE2. They are always fucking me in the ass, man. It was not clear to me, is Cyclone based on time, charges, or what? I mean, you press it and how much time can you stay in Cyclone? I think you can stay as long as you want. It is just mana based, right? And if it is not mana based, then it is based on... Then it is based on duration. I have to think that. I think they posted a picture about it here. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, this is POE1. We want POE2. These are the two ascendancies. I think this is going to be the champion. This one to the right. Which is dog shit because I don't want a fucking champion. That sounds like stupid. This one looks cooler, but he has a bow. Do you think if I want to play a duelist, I want to play a bow? I don't want to play a bow. But he seems like a weapon master or something like that. Because you can see that he has a two-handed sword. He has dual wielding swords. He has a dagger right here. He has a bow, but he also has a spear. He has all the weapons. This is like a weapon master, a war master, or something like that, you know? And this is a champion. There was a cyclone... like a picture, like a screenshot or something. That is what I am looking for, to see if it says something about duration or what. Yes, it picks up ground effects. It does pick that 9. No Slayer means I will be going Tyrant Warrior spin to win. Base. Fucking base. Here it is, the Cyclone Shell. Mana per second. Mana per second. Channel. It is a channeling ability. Channel to spin rapidly, damaging targets around you and moving forward. Overlapping an elemental ground surface takes on that element. Applying the elemental ground surface debuff to enemies hit. Using this skill from blood or sand stances causes blood waves or sand discs. So sand discs to fly out for the first few seconds of channeling. So the thing is that you could hold it forever, but you will lose the blood and sand stances bonus, right? So they want you to go out of the cyclone, pick up the bonus, and go into the cyclone again. People are not going to do that. What people are going to do is they get ground surface for something like the Taming Ring or something like the Wake of Destruction boots that give you ground, choke ground. Something like this that drop shot ground while moving, and then you spin to win, and you pick up, you are spinning all the time without stopping ever and picking up the fucking ground dog shit. That is what people are going to be doing. Yo, Void, how you doing, papi? Yes, you can pick up the elemental shed all the time, but not the blood and sand. So there you have it. That is Cyclone. Apparently there is a channel that had access to this shed and anuló el video. This. This guy went to Gamescom in Germany because his language is German. Look. So this is him playing at Gamescom. Okay. How do you feel about no balance patch until 1.0? Pretty disappointed. Like, I get their explanation and I understand, so I won't be mad about it, but I am disappointed. I really wanted the balance patch. And it is called the Duelist, by the way, not Gladiator. Brother is playing mouse, click to move, what the fuck?
We're the first ones. You're alone.
Never mind.
I would appreciate it if you could. Breach, clear, fell. Find pillar.
Rest easy. I'll do as you ask.
Brother, show the sword. Let the dude speak. Brother is not showing anything. He's rushing. This is not a race, brother. This is not a fucking race. Show the shit. Brother is playing like if he wants to qualify for ExileCon.
What a thing to leave lying around.
Let me pause it because he's going to wheel and slash to lead parried enemies and channel to put yourself in ready stance. Use the ability, retard! Okay, I am sorry. I didn't want you. I am sorry for calling you that. I am just mad because of the other shit. It is not your fault, man. Bro is already trying to parry because they are trying to force parry on you.
Keep up.
Do you think, bro? Look what you are doing, GG. This is GG's fault. Brother is desperately trying to parry. Look, he really wants to parry to get the benefit. He finally did it. He finally did it, boys. He parried.
Somehow, some way, I survived. An inglorious end. But you can rest now. Well, it's no worse than the slums of Theopolis.
Brother is not even interested in showing the swords. Show the sword!
Particular dark knife you could chop. Take a look. That'll be useful.
Need strong leaders in times like these.
Okay, I am going to pause because I don't know what he's going to do. Sand scour. Step backwards and slash forward while flinging sand. Blinding enemies and heavy stunning enemies that are primed for a stun. Consumes a frenzy charge. Okay, consumes a frenzy charge. If possible, to additionally fire sand discs. This skill can be used while using other skills to interrupt them, and can be held to enter ready stance after use, or sand stance instead if an enemy was heavy stun or a frenzy charge was consumed. Nobody's going to pick this one, boys. Engage. Stack forward with your weapon, causing knockback and stun buildup. Hitting an enemy that has been parried consumes the debuff to cause an explosion around them and grant you a frenzy charge. This skill can be used while using other skills to interrupt them. Okay, parries and frenzy charge. Okay. Two things that I never want to hear, and much less together. Like, I never want to hear frenzy charge, and I never want to hear parry. This ability has the two shits together. Charge slash. A slash in front of you, dealing shocking hits. If used from ready stance, instead perform a spinning slash that creates chaining projectiles of electricity. Charges buried blades on hit. Guess which one are people going to pick out of these 4 skills, boys? Out of these 4 skills, which ability do you think people are going to pick? I already know which one. Oh, and it is very obvious. Engage. How the fuck are they going to pick Engage, brother? Engage is the one with parry and frenzy in the chat. Everybody is going to choose charge slash. It is the one that it is just an attack and you don't have to do anything but attack. And it is lightning. Why the fuck would you go sand scour, prime for a stun, and if you stun, and if the chokeway, and if the frenzy charge? Why the fuck would you go engage that you have to parry the motherfucker? You just go charge slash and and you slash these motherfuckers. Easy. Everybody's going to pick the charge slash. Obviously, you need the blooded blade, and they give it to you for free. You need that one because that is the one that gives you the stance change. So you need the stance change. Obviously, you need to have it. But then you have to pick up one of these 3. Which one are you going to pick? Charge slash. Yes, are you spinning the wheel? I already did it, Doom. I already did it. I am going to upload the video. But we did it earlier, and I got the worst possible thing that I could have gotten. This is the worst wheel ever, by the way. I have never gotten a worse wheel than today's wheel. This is my worst wheel so far, ever. No, not for 1.0, for 0.55. I did it for 0.55. For 1.0, I won't do a wheel. I will just play the duelist. Or the Druid Ascendancy, if they release a Druid Ascendancy. I could do a wheel between the new Druid Ascendancy, if they release it, and the 2 duelist Ascendancies. And we do a 3 spec wheel very quickly to see the spec that I am going to start. Because I am going to play the werewolf no matter what. The thing is with what Ascendancy, right? I am not going to do the Arcane Archer. What is that dog shit? Fuck the Arcane Archer. Obvious. My man chose Charge Slash. I am sorry for my earlier comments, brother. You chose the correct ability. Okay? Low EP uncut. Big brain giga chat right here. You chose the correct ability. And I told you, everybody's going to choose that one.
Welcome. I fear this land's sickness.
Displaced by war, like so many others.
Brother Parry, brother Parry there. Brother Parry, the White Wolf in the first act, in the first song. Hey, but this guy plays Path of Exile, by the way. Like, this is not his first time playing Path of Exile. He knows where to go, he knows to sprint, he's skipping monsters. This guy is a Path of Exile player, for sure. This is not a game reporter, a game journalist level of gameplay, you know. Use a W, use a W. Don't die, don't die. I've been praising you, brother. Okay, the W, there you go. Use it, okay. He really wants to parry. Dude, don't listen to GGG. Parry sucks, man. I know that they want you to parry. Don't listen to them. Don't parry. Don't parry. Just attack that bitch. Basic attack is the best thing that you have. Just click her. Just click her with your basic attack. Everything will be fine. I promise. Don't even try to parry shit. Exactly. Look how that is your best damage. When you just hit her with the basic attack. GGG! The two-handed sword. Go two-handed. Giga chat behavior. There you go. The basic attack continues to be the best ability in Act 1, boys. No matter what weapon you play, no matter what skill you play, no matter what class you play, the best ability that you have in Act 1 is your basic attack. Always be basic attacking. Well, I don't know about the spells. Probably spells are better. But for attack-based characters, martial weapon dudes, your basic attack is your best shit. Use the 201 so that you don't have to parry the option.
This thing, how is it still alive? Mushrooms.
Always be basic attacking. Ow. So, dude, I have this very cool game that I want to recommend to you so that you play. It is called Path of Exile 2. Okay, what should I be doing in that one? What is the best ability that I could use? Basic attack. Just attack check. That is the best thing you can do. Basic attack check. You will worry about everything else later.
As I thought.
Brother is still doing the parry with the weapon swap. He weapon swaps to the dual wheel to parry, and then he swaps to the two-hander to attack. I cannot believe that they are putting. Man, it is good that in the interview they said that they are putting the, but I think it is only by using a shield, guys, that you can parry offensively, right? If you have a shield, you can do a shield slam, and you apply the parry debuff, and then you can do parry shed, which is important because you want to parry on command and not wait for the mobs to attack you. But at this point in time, he doesn't have that shield. So the only way parry works in here is waiting for the monsters to attack you. And it is insane to me that they are putting that much effort and effects into parry shed when it is this conditional. I don't want to be standing there waiting for the monster to attack me to apply the parry debuff. Fuck that shit. What sword and werewolf skill will you mix together? The Count G Honor slam that we saw in the trailer, right? With the unique sword that you do the big ice slam. That one looks cool. So sad that the werewolf doesn't have a parry. Thank God the werewolf doesn't use this dog shit parry ability, man. Hey, he parried in there pretty easily. For nothing. Man, dude, I will give you an advice right now. Don't try to parry, man. Use the basic attack. You will hit for... You will waste way less time just basic attack into his face. Don't parry, don't try to use an ability, don't try to apply conditionals. Just basic attack him. He's realizing that, by the way. He was just attacking in there. He's realizing that. Look, he's basic attack. Okay, he tried to parry in there. But he's starting to realize that just basic attacking is the way to go. Dude, he's a stone. What? That is what you get for not basic attacking more. That is exactly what you get for not basic attacking more. Yes, it is not a parry like in Elden Ring that, or in Sekiro, that you have to time the parry to the attack. In here, you just hold the block, and when they eventually hit you, you parry. It is a block. It is the same shit as a block. But you apply the parry debuff. That is the only difference. Every time that I see him trying to parry, I get tilted, boys. And it is not his fault. It is not your fault, low weapon. If you ever watch this, I am not talking shit about you. It's the game. The game is telling you that parrying is a good thing. It is not. It is not. You are trying to do what the game is telling you to do. I get it, man. I get it. if you really want to bleed something, just put bleed in a bleed support gem in your attack and you bleed the motherfucker without having to parry shit.
Can't even trust a damn tree anymore.
Level 56 duelists. Let's see the 56 duelists. Okay, this one looks way better, guys. As long as you don't try to parry shit, everything is going to be fine. Or at least he has a shield. His shield is a shield that you can parry on command, by the way. I think so. That you have the shield slam that you can parry on command. Perforate, step forward 3 times in rapid succession. The final strike in the sequence drills forward, causing rapid additional hits that inflict bleeding. Using this skill from ready stance immediately performs the final strike, and additionally causes the drill's first hit against each enemy to release a blood nova if you are in blood stance, or sand disc if you are in sand stance. Cyclone, we already read it. The work order is the biggest slam. Channel to encase your sword with power and release to clip the world in twain. Each stage increases the area and damage of a strike. This skill has its own attack time. Channeling ends 1 second after reaching maximum stages, 200% more damage per additional stage. We have to make the work order hit so insane that we one-shot our boss with that shit. Blade plunge is the one that you have the 3 pillars, right? Plunge your blade into the ground, damaging nearby targets and sending out multiple features that trigger Buried Blade when they end. All Buried Blades explode after you finish channeling. Channeling for an additional attack time primes the Buried Blades, causing their explosions to deal more damage in a larger area. Using this skill from Blood Stance or Sand Stance creates blood pools or sand discs around the Buried Blades, damaging nearby enemies for as long as you hold the skill. Grand Arena of Theopolis. So yes, this is an area on Act 5. In Act 5. Because we are going to Oriath and Theopolis is the capital of Oriath.
You sicken me!
He's trying all the abilities. He wants to see how they work in combat. I am fine with that. Okay, that is a cyclone. He's picking up the chopped dog shit from the ground.
You've suffered.
Mine.
New bases. That helmet is new. Sentinel Great Hand. And those gloves are also new. Those bases are new. Calling a strike against unique enemies. Okay, that is a good base, right? Claymore.
Suffered a long time.
Brother didn't even hover over the gauntlets. Okay, the gloves. Hardened bracers. Full evasion.
You lured famished slumborn with promises.
Brother don't give a fuck about lore. He clicked the X to end the fucking speech. That mace is also a new type of mace. Lumen mace. First time I see that base.
You don't deserve life!
This is the vision, boys. Playing for 3 hours versus a rare mob.
Never in doubt.
Temporal bubble. What a great idea for a monster modifier. Something that fucks over melee. Oh, another melee fucker. The degenerative prevents recovery about 50%. So 2 melee focus back to back. There is a cycle. Good aim right there, brother. I am being toxic, boys. I am just trying to be funny. I am not being toxic to be toxic. I am sorry if it is perceived as toxic.
I never left.
You don't deserve life! Get back!
You threatened your way into many a bed.
Yeah, the big sword animation is really cool. I can't tell if he is Leon or the Merc's voice actor. Oh, the voice actor for the duelist. I don't know either. People will figure out a way of one-shotting bosses with that skill, by the way. You just enter the arena, you channel it, and when the boss moves, dead. With a hit in the head. Or at least very close to being dead. He really likes the ability, by the way. He's using it a lot.
You don't deserve life!
I think people are going to use a lot those flying sand discs because they are a little bit range, right? And have a lot of area.
Look out!
That boss is cool, by the way. I like that boss. Spin to win, you pick up the burning ground. He fights another boss in here.
Look out!
He finally cycloned and did it for 1 second. Okay, I think we can take a look at we can get an idea of many abilities in here. What I am seeing is, at least at this stage of the game, the ability that you drop the swords from the ground, or that the swords are coming out of the ground, those abilities are dog shit. He's really trying to make it work, but it doesn't look good. The best abilities are the ones where you slash or throw up a slash projectile. The one that you slam is very cool. Obviously the cyclone. Even the parry and then bleed is better than trying to hit with the shit from the ground. From this footage, at least. And yes, thank you, Lowe brother, for the footage. Maybe he's not a big Path of Exile player, and he's trying to test all the abilities for the footage so that we can look at everything, right? Not necessarily trying to kill the boss fast. But yes, brother, thank you for the footage, because this way we actually know what the fuck is going on with the swords. Let me see if the database is updating with the sword abilities. They have not put the sword abilities, because I cannot see cyclone when you put channeling, for example. And this shit is not no, they have not done it. Okay. It is still not in the database. They said next week for 055, but they didn't say the date, right? They didn't say the actual date. Yes, September 4th. Okay. I will have to ask for that day off so that we can be in here and stream early with my fucking werewolf the die. Motherfucker. That wheel is the worst wheel that I have ever spawned in my life. The fucking the die, man. This fucks me in the ass. So yes, boys, we will be here September 4th when the league launches. We are going to be live, of course. We are going to do this shit. So be here, brother. Be here. They will probably launch something like you get a cosmetic, or you get something if you watch it live, like a drop or something when the league launches. Maybe they do the support streamer thing where if you get you gift a sub, you get a cosmetic, a pet, a portal, or some dog shit like that. So let's do it, brother. Let's be there. Yo, like the idiot, papi. Hey, that is great that you are doing good, brother. I am doing great. I am doing awesome. I am just finishing up the stream because we already did what we were going to do. But yes, guys, let's be here on Friday. I am obviously going to stream before that as well, but when the event launches on Friday, I will also be live. So be here, brother. I will drop it for now, for today. I am incredibly grateful for every single one of you. Thank you so much for being here and enjoying the live stream with me and checking all the info and all the news. You guys are beautiful and you guys are awesome. If you are on Twitch, follow my Twitch. It is free. But also you can go to my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my channel, brother. It is quick. It is easy. It is free. You get content. I get a sub. Win-win situation. Just sub to my YouTube channel, brother. But if you are on YouTube, also sub, obviously. But go to Twitch and follow my Twitch. It is quick. It is easy. It is free. You get a notification pop-up when I go live. Just follow my Twitch, brother. Also, join my Discord. I am always active on my Discord. Easiest way to communicate with me when I am not live. The link is in the description. And yes, guys, thank you so much for everything. You guys are beautiful. I hope you have a great day, night, afternoon, whatever it is where you live. Go and hug your family. Kiss your family. Life is beautiful, man. God, please bless every single person that is here. Make them happy. Make their families happy. Make their wishes come true. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. God bless you. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.